It is a very good afternoon. It's Niall Boylan with you for the next couple of hours or so. Don't forget, stick with us, by the way, and go to our website. If you want to just listen to the show live rather than watching it, you can go to our website, niallboylan.com. We do stream the audio live there. Some people find it easier to do if you're busy working or you can't watch it at the moment, but you can listen to it live there. There is a live player. Don't forget, hit the notification button on it and you'll get notified every single day of what topic we're doing and when the live player starts. Remember, the live player works each day between 12 and 2 o'clock, and also at night we play a lot of the older shows on the live player at 9 o'clock to midnight every single night. So please go to the live player. Don't forget, by the way, please support the show. It's now coming towards the end of the month. We get all our bills in. It's not that easy to pay them all. Thank you to everybody who subscribes to us and everybody who donates. It still isn't quite enough to pay the bills. We don't like putting our hands in our pocket too much. We don't get paid for doing this. So please do support us. We give you this platform every day. This week we've talked about immigration. We've talked about the EU Migration Pact. We've talked about the hate speech laws. All the things that are important to you, as well as talking about some social dilemmas as well. So please try and support the show. Remember, there's a lot of things you can come on the air and say uncensored that you will never be able to say on any other media. You won't get on the Joe Duffy show and say these things. You won't get these topics covered the way they're covered on the Joe Duffy show. We bring on the right people, the politicians, the guests, the experts and everybody to try and satisfy your knowledge and make you critically think about how the government are running this country. So please do support us. You can easily support us by going to our Twitter right now, clicking on Buy Me a Coffee. You could donate on the website, a $5 to $5 million, whatever you can afford. Or you can subscribe to the show. And all you got to do, once again, is just go to the website, niallboylan.com. Now, first on the show today, drinking. Yeah, well, we're famous for that, aren't we? Certainly us Irish. And the former Fine Gael Justice Minister has added his voice to those concerned about the new proposed late-night licensing laws. The Irish Examiner reported last week that the Road Safety Authority, the RSA, had expressed concerns that a plan to allow nightclubs and bars to open until 6 o'clock in the morning bars until 2:30 would lead to more road deaths. And Charlie Flanagan has said he's concerned that the government will try to ram through the legislation before the summer and the tourists get here. Now, the proposed sale of alcohol bill, which would allow nightclubs to open until 6 o'clock, will undoubtedly challenge public order and safety in Ireland and lead to public health problems, according to a consultant. Dr. Mary O'Mahony, who is a member of the Irish Medical Organisation Public Health Committee, said that a change in the licensing laws would increase violence on the streets, both in the home and out on our streets. It would increase the consumption of alcohol and the harms of alcohol. She also said our population has a lot of harm from alcohol already, but increasing availability and the hours it can be sold will inevitably increase public order problems. In Ireland, we have one of the highest rates of alcohol consumption per capita in the world, and we need to reduce that, she added. This won't help. Our alcohol consumption per capita at the minute is about 9.9 litres. And if the average person was to adhere to the guidance, they would need to come down to about 6.8 litres per annum. That's per year, by the way, not per day, obviously. In 2021, we had 58,000 births in Ireland, and it's estimated that 500 of these babies had fetal alcohol syndrome. And another 2,700 were born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And Dr. O'Mahony said the sale of alcohol bill should be subject to a public health impact assessment before becoming the law. Now, many other European countries allow all-night drinking and late-night opening, as you're well aware if you go away on holidays to Spain and places like that. Some of the bars and nightclubs don't close till 7 o'clock in the morning. They'll close when the last person leaves, essentially. But Ireland has always had very strict rules when it comes to late-night opening. And I suppose it's only been in the last decade that we made nightclub licences available. Up to that point, when I worked in the nightclub industry, there were no nightclub licences. Nightclubs operated on a restaurant or a hotel licence. That's why only nightclubs around were actually in hotels or restaurants. And they had to operate with a bar extension. They couldn't even open on a Sunday before 12 o'clock. You remember all that? Saturday after 12 o'clock, they were dodging the guards. But the nighttime economy has been hit hard over the last decade. And the very first time it was hit, of course, was the smoking ban. That damaged business somewhat. And then, of course, there are many other reasons. The cost of alcohol. Young people decided it was better to drink at home or have house parties. Of course, cocaine didn't help either because people were using cocaine rather than drinking alcohol. Music and the music culture played a role in the downfall of the nightclub industry. Because at the time, people were more interested in going to a nightclub for a dance and a drink was an option. Whereas now, you're going for the drink and the dance is an option. And also, of course, the fact that a lot of kids now go to college, whereas in our day, they didn't. They went straight to work and they had more disposable income. But the final nail in the coffin for the nightclub industry, of course, was COVID-19, where they closed for practically 2.5 years. That did a huge amount of damage. And I can only speak for Dublin because I live in Dublin, but if you're living around Limerick, Cork and Galway, you'd be well aware that the number of nightclubs has declined dramatically. In Dublin, we had more nightclubs per head of population than any other city in Europe at one stage. I think we had over 70 nightclubs just in Dublin alone back in the late 1980s and 1990s. Now we have 4 or 5. So that just shows you the big decline in the industry. It's a massive decline in the nighttime industry. And the nighttime industry is worth a lot of money and it keeps a lot of people employed. So it is important. But should they open later? Is this the answer, to let them open till 6 in the morning? And would people really stay till 6 in the morning? What sort of people stay out till 6 o'clock in the morning? Drunks, I imagine. But let me know what you think. Would it be worth allowing the nightclubs to open till 6 in the morning and the bars till 2 in the morning? Would that be a good idea? Or do you think that would be a recipe for disaster? Let me know what you think by texting or WhatsApping right now on 085 100 22 55. That's 085 100 22 55. We want to get your comments and let us know what you think. Let me go to Carl first if I can. Carl, there we go. Carl, hi, how are you?
Well, just me order a drink first, so yeah.
Carl, is it a good idea? Look, I don't know what age you are, but we remember the nightclubs when it was literally 2 o'clock and you were all kicked out on the street by 2:30 at the latest.
Yeah, I remember they used to have to give you food in the nightclubs.
That's right, yeah.
Even stay open to have a drink.
But that's because they operate on a restaurant license. They used to. They don't anymore. Yeah.
Look, I've lived in various parts of Europe during my life. I lived in France. I worked in France for 2 years, and I've lived in Holland for 8 years. And I've done a lot of travelling in my life. I think it's a great idea to keep the bars open till 6 a.m. in the morning, or the nightclubs, wherever it may be, for 2 simple reasons. Firstly is that for people who work late shifts, and when they finish, some of them like to have a drink. They can't socialise during the day because they're asleep. They're in work that night. So they're entitled to go and have a drink somewhere. That's one of the things
You could make that argument about pretty much anything. You could say, well, shouldn't supermarkets be open? What about those people who work late? Shouldn't they be able to go shopping in the middle of the night? You could make that argument about everything.
24 hours a day.
There's very few of them.
Shops open.
Yeah, there are very few of them.
Yeah, but they are available. The second one is that when I worked in France, during the day, during our lunch break on work, we were allowed to consume alcohol, whether it be a bottle of wine or a pint of beer.
Yeah.
Not excessive amounts, but you were allowed to consume it. And I think the Irish culture is that they know the bar is going to close. So it's quick. Get 3 pints in and 2 shots in or 2 whiskies in, whatever it may be, and scull it as quick as you can. Now, that used to be the case. I think a lot of people drink from home now. But it's excessive drinking in such a short space of time.
I remember when I was the DJ in the nightclub and the manager would come over to me at 10 to 12 or 10 to 2 and he'd say, do a quick slow set and tell them the bar is closing. And then I could see all the lads running up to the bar. Yeah, give us 4 points there, But they wouldn't drink them. They'd manage to scull 3 of them back and just leave one on the table before they'd leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the thought of having no drink. But if these laws come in, they change. They'll be saying, well, what are we worrying for? We can pace ourselves through the night or through the early hours of the morning. We don't have to be excessive drinking or sculling points, as we'd say, Take your time. And I think it will solve a lot of the problems. You won't see as many drunks or fights amongst young people, because I'm not sculling the beer down, the alcohol down. That's my reason.
I mean, look, I remember arguing for this when I worked in the nightclub industry. Of course, I was a bit younger and maybe a bit more naive, and I argued for this because there was the talk of this at the time. And I remember there was a whole campaign going around at the time to try and get the nightclubs open later. And the argument at the time was that because every club closed at 2:30, you had thousands of people piling out of the streets from Club M and Break for the Border and all those old clubs that were in town. And they'd be all in the middle of Dame Street boxing the heads off each other at 2:30 in the morning, right? And the argument was, if you let the bar or the club open till whatever time they wanted, up to 6 o'clock, they could decide what time they want to close at, up to 6 o'clock. They'd all close at different times and people would stagger out at different times. And you wouldn't have that many people all at the one time in the middle of the street knocking the heads off each other. But you can't deny it, Carl. It'll cause a problem.
I don't think, look, even if they do change the laws, can you really see some of them you might see one or two of them staying open late, but most of them would shut because they have to think about you're paying shift rate for the.
Oh yeah, it's the viability of opening. Yeah, is it worth opening? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, change the law and see how it goes. You know, we're not going to look. We're already known as a nation of drunks anyway. You know?
Well, we don't keep that reputation up. Well, actually, stay there. Let me go to Morris as well. Morris, hi. How are you?
Niall, how are you doing? Happy Easter weekend to you.
Happy Easter weekend to you too. But Morris, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as Carl rightly said, we're known as a nation of drunks. Do we really need, any more time to drink? We drink quite a lot as it is.
Yeah, well, Niall, sorry, I just come off 40 days in the desert. I gave up alcohol for Lent, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll have a drink on Easter Sunday. I'll have a little Jameson and I'll have a bottle of beer, a bottle of Guinness. And I'll celebrate, for the people that's in it. But I was out last Saturday, I was telling your researcher, and I saw a guy queuing up outside an off licence at 10:30 with the sheikhs to go in and get a drink so he could settle himself. That's how bad it is, right? Then I went up on Sunday just to have a look. There was another gang waiting outside the off licence on a Sunday at 11:30 when he opened up to get their hands on the drink. So I should think to knock that on the head. Don't be opening up an off licence or, what do you call it, the early houses till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No drinking Dublin till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that'll stop all that early drinking in the morning business, early houses and that.
So Morris, you're talking about the minority. People that you're not seeing queuing up outside an off licence looking for beer.
But they're everywhere. It's not one off licence. It's all over the city. It's all over the country.
Yeah, but how many people is it that's queuing up outside an off licence to get alcohol?
Well, to me, one is too many. Because I'll tell you why. You have a drink problem if you have to queue up and get a drink at that hour of the morning. If you can't go a couple of hours on a plane or wait till 2 o'clock in the afternoon to have a drink, you have a drink problem. You're addicted. You're dependent on alcohol. End of story. And admit it. Oh, they only have a few, doctor. You're a raving alcoholic according to your blood sample. But I do agree with you. If the pubs are allowed to stay open and they're policed properly, there's no police on the roads anymore. I wouldn't go into town now, and I'm an ex-soldier. I wouldn't bring my wife or my son into town anymore. Dublin's not safe. Can you imagine what it'd be like with drink and drugs? It tear you apart.
I do remember at the time, by the way, it actually reminds me, because today is Holy Thursday, right? I do remember when I worked in the nightclub industry, we used to look forward to Holy Thursday and Good Friday because it was the only 2 days we were closed. And but the nightclubs used it as an opportunity to get maintenance done. But I remember the guards took a dim view if you tried to open, because I worked in Club M at the time, and we decided it would be clever if we opened at midnight on Good Friday. And the guards went mad, and the guards came along and they walked in the door and they said to the manager, right, you have two choices here. You can chuck everybody out and close the doors. Or he said legally you can stay open. It's after 12, you can stay open if you want to. But I can tell you now, if you stay open, we'll be in here every Saturday for the next 2 years. So
I think tourists, I remember one time now we were on your show, your daytime show, and a couple of tourists rang you up and said, oh Jesus, I couldn't get a drink in Dublin on Good Friday, I'm never coming back again. And then they relaxed the laws. Do you remember that?
That's right, yeah. Oh, well, it's only in the last 3 years that Good Friday has been open, yeah.
And do you remember, I'll tell you what hardened drinkers are, Niall. Hardened drinkers, what they did in my day was, to beat the Good Friday ban on alcohol, they got the ferry to Holyhead or the ferry to Liverpool.
That's right.
And drank over and on the way back. Do you remember?
Yeah, or do you remember the boat on the Liffey, the MV Aaron? Do you remember that?
Exactly. Once you were on water, you could drink. That's how desperate people were. But I do believe that we should go with the rest of Europe and open up at staggered time. Restaurants, pubs, car what do you call them, bar cafes, that type of thing, you know?
Yeah, but Carl, see, I kind of agree with Morris and I agree with you in a sense. But if it wasn't Ireland, I know, we like you said, Carl, you know, people in France have a drink at lunchtime and that's grand. But see, in Ireland, it's different. People can't just have a drink. They have to get pissed.
Yeah, but it's because it's not available to them. If it's made available to them, the abuse won't be as big or as great.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how can I put it? We know they're trying to legalise cannabis at the moment, right? And everyone is smoking and they think, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm breaking the law, a bit of hash here. Once you legalise it, it's kind of one part of the norm. People will do.
Yeah, sorry, your phone is breaking up a little bit, but I get the point you're saying, Morris. Once you do it, people will start to accept it, and they'll time themselves and pace themselves, and they won't, scull 20 points in an hour. Morris, you know that happens in the nightclubs in Ireland. You know, people,
very
young
much
people,
so.
they drink a lot in the last hour because they know they have to get it in before it closes.
Yeah. Well, you said there a while ago, Niall, I was listening to you, and how times have changed. People were turning around and going, oh, yeah, they're going out for a late night drink. They're going to the clubs now to score cocaine.
Yeah,
That's what's going on.
Yeah, there is a problem.
You know, they're getting a high there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, listen, if they get it right and they do it properly and it's policed properly, but at the moment, Dublin is a no-go area as far as I'm concerned. And it shames me to have to say that about my own city. I don't feel safe in my own city. And you know, I'm an ex-army man. I'd take on anybody. But I tell you one thing, I got out with Dublin City one day when I was in Muir Street, and I said to my wife and son, we're going, we're getting out of here. I did not feel safe. And this was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
But this piece of legislation, of course, is Helen McEntee, the Minister for Justice, is the one talking about this. And I find it bizarre that, you know, Helen McEntee, who's currently the supervisor of a very bad justice system from what we can see, where people like you say they don't feel safe in the city, is now coming up with another plan that, according to, you know, many people, is going to make it even more dangerous.
Well, there you go. There has to be police
behind them. What do you say? Okay, sorry, Carl. What do you mean, Noel?
No, because what you're basically saying in that statement there is that it's drunks that are causing the problem.
A lot of the time it is. But it is a lot of the time.
Look, listen, I don't go into the city because it's not my Dublin anymore, and I still live in 3 kilometres from the city, right? But I say it's not the Dublin I was reared in. My wife goes into the city centre and she says, I will not walk down Moore Street because of the gangs of Romanians. She never once mentions there's people falling out of pubs locked at 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
The vast majority of public order problems at night, I'm talking about at night, not during the day, although I'm sure it happens during the day too, but the vast majority of public order problems that happen at night are people who are drunk, Carl. Or on drugs. Or both.
I mean, I can't comment on it.
I can only go back to my own experience years ago, and I don't know what it's like now because I don't go into the city at night now, right? But my own experience years ago when I used to come out of the nightclub when I was DJing, I'd come out with me box of records or CDs or whatever it was, and I was going to the car park. They'd be knocking the head off each other down Temple Bar, down around Dame Street, down on the Quays. They'd be boxing the heads off each other. It's the same in Limerick and Cork and Galway as well, by the way. You know, you go down to Eyre Square or you go to Patrick Street or whatever it is in Cork. They're boxing the heads off each other.
Yeah, but is it drink now, or is it drugs, or is it
a bit of both? It's a bit of both.
Yeah, okay. We're saying it's a bit of both. Okay, so for the normal decent person who goes into the city centre and has a few pints or a few drinks with their wife or their girlfriend or their husband or boyfriend or whatever they want to call themselves, are they coming out boxing the head off each other?
Yeah, but why can't? I mean, what's wrong with going home at a reasonable time? I mean, 2:30 in the morning is a reasonable time, isn't it? You can go out till 2:30 if you want to.
I'd be turning over for my second sleep at that stage.
I'm still watching the telly usually at that stage. Okay, well, stay there for a second. Let me go to Breda. Breda, hi, how are you?
Hi, Niall. How are you?
Good. Breda, is this a good idea to extend the nightclubs till 6 in the morning? Now, they don't have to stay open till 6, by the way, but they can. They want to.
No. I think like some of the nightclubs here in the town, especially when the students are here, they're open till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then there's mayhem and havoc and shouting and roaring. And
Mantra is the big nightclub in your area there, I know it.
No, that's long gone.
Oh, is it gone? Mantra, okay.
That's gone, yeah. They're actually building apartments for students at the back of it now. They had to keep the front of the building, but the rest...
I worked in Mantra for a few years as a DJ.
I used to live there as a child now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was we had the whole house when I was a young child. Yeah, we had great fun at that house. But anyway... no, look, I mean, if you can't enjoy yourself up to whatever time at 3 in the morning, it's enough. If people falling out at 6 o'clock in the morning, people are ready to go to work then, someone walks out onto the street and you're, at 6 in the morning, you're still half asleep, or I could be coming home from a flight, exhausted, and your reactions aren't as quick maybe as they would be, an hour later when you're kind of woken up, or I'd be in the bed. Let's stay open 24 hours then. When is enough?
Yeah. I mean, and Carla, that's a good point. When is enough? I mean, you can't just have drink, which is a controlled substance, by the way, available, 24/7, like.
No, it's available on a legal premises, hence a pub, nightclub, or a hotel. Yeah. I'm not on about off license being open 24 hours a day. If people want to...
but we drink too much, Carl. We still drink too much. Per head of population, the Irish drink more than any other country in the world. We're way up there.
I don't I'm a teetotaler.
But so am I, by the way.
don't drink.
I don't drink either. But that's beside the point.
Carl, I enjoy a drink, but I don't drink. I could go weeks without having a drink. I just think we're encouraging a drink culture. Where it's there anyway. Like as you said, we're known as the drunken Irish. You know, why encourage the next generation and the one behind it to continue that culture? Let's try and veer them away from it.
Like Carl, it's not like we're trying to change it to make things worse. Like it's not like if somebody turned around to me tomorrow and says, "I think we should close the pubs earlier," I would never agree with that. So it's not like we're trying to restrict something. It's something that's already been there. We've already, loosened up the laws over the last decade by allowing nightclubs to have a nightclub license, etc., and got rid of the old bar extensions. They're practically gone now. So we've already loosened up the laws. I mean, we don't, just because Spain do it or, France do it or whoever does it, doesn't mean we have to do it.
Well, look, as I said, we don't have to do it, but personally speaking, I think they should do it. I said, people will learn from it. They will learn that they don't have to go excessively drink.
Don't be ridiculous.
Look, sorry, Brenda, can I cut across you there for a second? I mean, the young people coming up today are more into drugs than drink. And it's well known. I mean, I feel young.
Yeah.
Adults really right?
Yeah, I know.
They're out all the time and they say hash, cannabis,
cocaine,
meth, whatever else.
Cocaine is cheaper than alcohol. Yeah,
is a much bigger problem than alcohol. So if they're not going to get the kicks out of alcohol, they're going to get it out of drugs. And that was going to be the ruination of this country, is the drugs. I mean, heroin decimated this country and Dublin in the 80s. It's going to get a lot worse.
But those people who are snorting the cocaine, taking the ecstasy or smoking the weed, less likely to be smoking the weed going to a nightclub, but taking the ecstasy and taking the cocaine, they're going to nightclubs, with the few that are left. They're the ones coming out onto the street, at 4 or 5 in the morning. So it doesn't matter, Carl, whether it's drink or drugs. It's the fact that the premises is open, which gives them somewhere to go. If there was nowhere for them to go, they might go home quietly.
That's the whole,
They'll go to a mate's place and go to an apartment or have a party. They'll always find somewhere to go, no matter what.
But
Carl, there was a famous pub in town, and Niall, you know this, the Chinaman, up there off Stephen Street.
Yeah, I remember it,
Gone. That pub was notorious for cannabis smoking in the pub, and, there was never arguments in the pub. In all the years I was there, I'd never seen an argument in that pub. Now, the pub is long gone. I never saw an argument in the pub or outside that pub. Charlie's Rock Bar was across the road. Never seen an argument there.
Okay, look, I'm looking at a chart here. For the biggest drinkers in the world, right? Now, by the way, we shouldn't be too proud of this. This is not something we should be aiming for, right? Now, people in Belarus, Lithuania and Grenada have a huge problem, by the way, and also do the Czech Republic and Russia. But we're right up there with Ireland, Luxembourg and Slovakia, and are, according to this, 11.4 litres per year. So, I mean, that's not something we should be proud of, that we're way ahead of Germany and Hungary and Portugal and Poland and Slovenia. We're way ahead of the UK and America. We're way ahead of all those countries. You know what I mean? And we're a small little country. Like, what's our problem? Stay there for a second. Let me just go to Sean. Sean, hi, how are you?
How you doing, Niall? How are you?
You heard breathing. No way. We shouldn't be making problems worse.
Yeah, sure. Look, she's at the saying there. She's only to wake up and she's driving a car. You shouldn't be driving a car if you're half asleep. Now, the fact of the matter is...
I'm coming home after being working all night, John. I can't have no option but to drive a car to get home.
Yeah, well, if you feel that way, you should pull in and have a nap. Now, the fact of the matter is, Niall, we should be moving with the times, and I know that sounds stupid to you, but this will all fizzle out, Niall. You see, if they open till 5 a.m., say, this will eventually get to be the norm. And this is not going to probably be even... I probably never going to go out, Niall. My cut-off switch is 1 o'clock, if I've ever been out. 1 o'clock, half
Yeah, but you're a bit older, Sean. I'm talking about young people.
Yes,
you're not young.
But we're not talking about older people. We're talking about
I know
young
that.
people.
Give us a minute, will you? Yeah, give us a minute, please. What I'm saying is, Niall, the younger people, it's draconian what's going on. It should be labelled. Look, even 4 a.m. I think that's a good cut-off point. And it's the fact of the matter is, Niall, it's the decision is there if they want it. If they don't, and Niall, a lot of them won't be out till 4 a.m. But it's there. The tourists, the whole lot. Sorry.
Sorry, did you say something, Rita?
I just said they will be out. I mean, I live in a student town. they stay out until the last flipping minute that they have to.
Yeah, but
And then
students
they
are
stagger
students,
home.
Breda.
But
Breda,
it doesn't
students are.
matter.
You'll have this, Breda. Here's the fact of the matter, and you know this as well as I know this, Breda. Students are like animals when they go out. They always were. They always will be. You know, I don't know what it is with students, but they always tend to act the animal. You know that we. What did they get that? They have that week out, Niall.
Rag
go
week.
off on a
Rag
motor.
week.
Rag week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cancelled
Absolute
here.
mayhem.
That's cancelled.
Sorry, Breda?
Cancelled here. That's cancelled here in this town because it caused so much mayhem and havoc. You know.
Well,
like,
should they
that's
go
not
somewhere
allowed
else and do it, Breda? Yeah, but they're still going to have it, Breda, somewhere else.
But it doesn't matter. I still think you're encouraging a drink culture if you have a pub or clubs open to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Breda,
I
can right, okay. I have a son of 22 years of age, okay? And he goes out with his girl and
23. Right.
Yeah, well, now, I'll give you my story first and you can give me yours. My son goes out with his pals on the weekends after doing a hard week's work. They go out, they have drinks, they have something to eat. The latest I've ever seen him coming in, Breda, is about 1:30 in the morning, literally, you know. Now, if it was there till 4 o'clock, I don't think they even would stay out till 4, but it'd be nice for the option for them if they wanted to. You know, he's not going to start going around and breaking the place up, Breda, or falling out, as you said, into traffic or causing trouble or breaking the law just because the pubs are up until 4 o'clock, Breda. That's absolutely, it's stupid, like.
But hang on, it's not stupid, Sean. Okay, your son mightn't do it. But the evidence, is there, and I'm looking here, for example, and the former Minister for Justice said it. The Road Safety Authority have said it, and I also Dr. What's her name again, Dr. Mary O'Mahony from the Irish Medical Organisation said.
We're always going to have that.
But
Sean,
we're going to have that.
Sean, the sad thing is people are going to get into their cars and drive, no matter whether it's
that's Breda. Don't give me that bullshit. It's going to happen anyway, Breda. Hold on, Breda. They're doing it anyway, whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Breda. So don't come with that one.
But hang on a second. You're very.
They're drunk driving, they're drink driving, Breda. It's nothing got to do with the new laws. They're going to do it anyway, Breda. And that's the thing I wanted to say about Morris. Morris is actually, you know what I wanted to go back to Niall about Morris, just one quick second. I do see people outside an off-licence at 10:30 in the morning, yes I do. But I only see one or two, Niall. And you're always going to get that. And that's always been the way, as far as I can remember, Niall. I don't see
but he is right. If you're waiting outside an off-licence for it to open, you have a drink problem.
You have a problem. You have
Absolutely. I don't disagree with you, Niall, but we're not seeing 20 and 30 people hanging out. If you want to hear, Niall, you know this as well as I know this, and I've often done it, Niall. You know, we went to the Early House many a moon ago, Niall. I don't know if you ever went to an Early House in Cable Street. I think it's gone now. But, Niall, we went to Slattery's, I think it was, and we'd have a beer, you know. And that, Niall, was something that you'd only do once in a blue moon, you know. And it, you know...
after a night on the lash. Yeah.
Absolutely, Niall. So it's there if you want to go and get it. But it's too much hassle, you know. You got to move with the times. I don't believe it's all chaos.
I see this line, you got to move with the times. It's 2024. Just because another country does something doesn't mean we have to do it.
No, but we should do it, Noel. It's for the tourists.
Yeah, but
it's for the nightclubs. It's for everybody.
But I wouldn't object to it in France, for example, the same way as I don't object to children drinking wine in France because they know how to do things in a measured amount.
Part of their culture.
Yeah. But we're different here in Ireland. We celebrate everything with alcohol. Everything with alcohol. You only have to look at somebody and it's, let's have a pint. So, you know what I mean? Like, we just drink too much. And thankfully, it's coming down a bit because young people are not drinking as much because they're probably taking drugs, as you rightly said. But either way...
Yes, I believe what the guy said.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a good thing to see that the drink culture reducing. Now, I do feel sorry for the night.
It's not a good thing.
Now, hang on.
Going back to... What the other guy said there... There's the reason why the younger crowds are not drinking because they couldn't be arsed. They're getting their bag of weed and they're going sitting in the bedroom smoking it like a lunatic. You know.
Well, hang on. Let's speak to one of those young people. Jessica, hi.
Hello,
Jessica. Okay, happy birthday to you. Everybody sing happy birthday, Jessica. Happy birthday to you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jessica. We were too.
You're gonna get a bottle of vodka to celebrate.
I'm not a spirit person, either, girl.
Jessica's 25 today. So, Jessica, I mean, do you go clubbing at all, or?
No, I haven't gone clubbing in ages, but that's just because I don't have the time for it anymore. But like, if I had a stressful week at work and about a club was open till 6 o'clock from Friday night to Saturday morning, I wouldn't mind that to let me hair down. As the song goes, I like the nightlife, I like to boogie.
I love the nightlife, I like to boogie. Go.
Really proving me age now, aren't I?
Yeah, but I don't know how you remember that song. That song is a lot older than you, let me tell you. Okay, so you don't think that'll be a problem, but Jessica, you know yourself that, and I know from working in the nightclub industry for years, people come out and they have a few drinks on, and all of a sudden there's a Barney in the middle of Dame Street. You know what I mean? We don't want more Barneys in the middle of Dame Street or on the Quays or Temple Bar or whatever it happens to be.
But to me, the violence on the streets and all after drinking, all to me, that's personal responsibility and personal actions. You chose to go way over your limit, and you're choosing to pick a fight with your man on the road. Like, I don't see how that would be a bar's fault. And like it's not like every nightclub and bar would have to stay open till 6 a.m., but they should at least have the option. Because when you think about it, the hospitality sector took a beating because of the lockdowns. And I think this would be a great way for them then to get that money probably 10 times over then from the money they lost from the lockdowns. I think it would actually be a huge boost to the economy.
And it is a good thing.
Yeah, sorry, just to point out as well, the other thing that we're not mentioning as well is, of course, is A&E. And alcohol consumption is a factor in 19.4% of people who present themselves at hospitals. So, I mean, all you got to do is go to A&E on a Friday and Saturday night in the middle of town, and you see people with cuts on their head from falling, busted eyes, busted noses from fighting. You know, it's constant.
I'm sure.
That's going to happen, Niall. You know.
Yeah. I know.
Unfortunately, Niall.
But you will see an increase. But you'll see an increase in that.
Well, you see, here's the thing, Niall, and this is the fact of the matter as well. People at Stagger Times, as we were talking about, like, you know, a lot of people would be getting home through the hours of the night, Niall, instead of everybody getting fecked out onto the street at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I think that's absolutely crazy, Niall.
But they'll all get back out at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like
No, I have to agree with him there, Breda. They won't all get fecked out at 6, because I can tell you now, the vast majority of people are not going to stay there till 6.
Not at all. Yeah, no way.
Very few people. Only the real hanger-in-theirs will stay there till 6. So what will happen is you'll have people leaving over a 4-hour period slowly, rather than everybody piling out at 2:30 in the morning. I do get that point.
Niall, you can remember, Niall, back... Niall, we'd get out of town early because I knew it'd be more than 2:30 to get a taxi. You'd be walking for hours. So I'd get out at 1:30, Niall. I'd get before the crowd would start, because if you didn't, you were there till 4 or 5 in the morning trying to get home. Literally, you know. So you know, yeah, I think it's a great idea in that sense as well. You know, so a bit of freedom. Yes, there's going to be a lot of, you know, it's going to be a lot of messing when it starts up. If it does start up for that immense.
Well, they're trying to push it through before the summer. Actually, do me a favour, because I skipped over Jackie there, and Jackie's been waiting ages. Jessica, stay with me, please. Just stay there. Jackie, hi.
Hi, Niall.
Sorry, Jackie, for leaving you waiting. I should have went to you before Jessica, but I just didn't see you on the screen there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, look, at certain points were raised there by your last speaker, and the fact of, you know, where everyone is thrown out at 2 o'clock, or be it 12:30 or whatever. I think this is a good thing in a sense now, that if the choice is there in some venues, that they can continue on for the late hour, you know, till 5 or 6. And don't forget, you have a lot of people working different shifts. So it allows people that might be on a shift to go in and have, you know, something to drink or meet someone or whatever. And the overall picture of this, it's not going to really affect rural Ireland in a way. Okay, Galway City, Dublin, Cork, they might do this, but a lot of places will not do this because they don't have the staff, number one. They don't have the infrastructure to do this. Now, just to highlight another part of that bill is got to do with cultural spaces. And it's a submission that we did in MIA come back 2 years ago to the Justice Committee. And we're very worried about that, is the definition of what a cultural space is.
Okay.
So,
and what's your definition of a cultural space?
Well, you see, this is like durable relationship.
I know. Yeah.
Or what is hate
speech? Yeah.
We're down that route, you know, because they don't have a definition on what it is. And like, okay, you look at theatres and stuff like that. They are cultural spaces. But supposing you have a venue that opens and says, right, we're doing something with tourists, or we're doing a bit of traditional music here, whatever, but now we're going to do some late night, look, get a bar exemption, and suddenly they're up against some venue that's running consistently, or a bar, restaurant that will be putting on live music. And that is one of our main concerns, is what is a cultural space. So there is that involved. But the other thing, Niall, isn't it kind of funny that all this is happening? And I was on a program there recently about this, where this has only come to light now, and they're looking at doing a risk assessment of this. And where Charlie Flanagan came out and originally was on the side of this.
He's now against it, yeah.
And now he's against it, because now what you have is Simon Harris taken over, and suddenly the bank.
But he's not the only one against it. The Road Safety Authority have expressed concerns about it. The IMO, the Irish Medical Organisation, have expressed concerns about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I was all for it, because I worked in the nightclub industry for 26 years, right? And I would have been one of the ones who would have been saying the legislation we had at the time was draconian. Now, mind you, it was more draconian then than it is now, at least as nightclub licenses and stuff like that. But as I get older and a bit more conservative, I'm kind of thinking, would it really be a good thing? I don't know. Maybe let some of them open, let some of them not open. I don't know. Do we really need bars to be open till 2? But yeah, okay. But do we need bars to open till 2 o'clock? Whatever about nightclubs, which are quite specific to going out late, do we need bars to be open till 2 in the morning?
No, we don't.
Well, again, should we not have the choice?
Sorry, hang on. Sorry, Jessica. What are you trying to say there? Sorry.
No, I was saying, was it me, I think? Well, I don't, was it Jessica or me? Sorry.
Go ahead, Breda. Just go ahead, Breda. What do you want to say? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, again, you're encouraging this drink culture that we're known for. I mean, if you can't go out and have a few drinks and leave the pub when it closes at whatever, 11 o'clock at night, Jesus, how much is enough? I just think, they're saying that they'll stagger out. I still don't think they will, Niall, to be perfectly honest with you. I think if there's music playing and they're there and they're bopping and dancing or whatever they do now, I don't know if they even dance anymore, they'll be there till it closes.
But I remember being on radio back in 2001, I think it was Minister Michael McDougall I was interviewing at the time. He would have been Minister for Justice as far as I remember. And we were pleading with him to allow the nightclubs to open later till 4 or 5 in the morning, because of the problems that we had with people coming out of the bars and the nightclubs at the same time. And so, Breda, I know you're disagreeing with it. If they allow 6 o'clock opening, they're not all going to open till 6 o'clock, because it just wouldn't be viable, right? And most people are not going to stay out till 6 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Some of them might, but most of them.
Niall.
Hang on, Jessica, would you stay out till 6 in the morning?
If I had a really stressful week and I wanted to let my hair down a bit, I would. But most times when I go out with my mates, we'll go out early. We literally go about 7, 8, get to the place before we have to pay, and then we literally leave about 11:30, 12. We have to cut our night short, so just so that we're able to get home late.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. So why should we have to cut our night short just so that we're not ending up fighting for cabs at the way home? Whereas at least if it's open till 6, we could stay out a little bit longer, let our hairs down for a little bit, have a few drinks, have our bop, have a few vapes or smokes, whatever we're doing, and then get home easy enough. I mean,
hang on. I want to go back to Jackie, because obviously Jackie was involved in the Justice Committee on this, on a report. But Jackie, did they, in the impact report they did on this, did they look at how people are going to get home?
Sorry, you're breaking up there.
So I'm just saying, when the report was done on this, the report that you were involved in, did they look at how people are going to get home? Have we lost him? Are you there, Jackie? No, he's gone. Oh, yeah, he's gone. Okay, well, let me. I'll come back I'll try and get Jackie back if I can in a second. Let me just go to John as well. John, hi. How are you?
I hope you got your Jester Easter egg.
I shall be there later on today, and I shall check for my Jester Easter egg. John, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for my Easter egg, John. John always buys me an Easter egg, Breda. Isn't he lovely? Jessica never buys me one.
I would have bought you one if I didn't know you like chocolate, Niall.
I love buttons.
I thought you were into Red Bull and they don't make Red Bull.
No, I like Red Bull and Buttons Easter eggs. Just in case Jessica or Breda, you need to know in case you want to send one in to
You
me.
should have said that a bit earlier, Niall.
Oh, actually, John, hang on. Just before I come to John, I want to get Jackie to finish what he was saying. Jackie, can you hear me now?
Apologies about no.
No, I was asking during the report that you were involved in, because Jessica makes a good point that she leaves at 11 o'clock because they got to figure out how to get home, right? Did the impact report or the report that you were involved in, did it consider how people were going to get home? Because let's be clear about it, Dublin doesn't have the best overnight transport system.
No, but you see, again, this will be in the cities. And that is being discussed anyway because it's an issue even for closing earlier to get taxis or to get... So they are looking at that. But and on another point is that since COVID lockdown, the house parties really took over.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the issues and the off licenses and the cheap drink, that's where a lot of the problems are. And on another note, like if you do have, say, venues continuing on late, that's more employment as well within that sector. And don't forget, back in our day and your day, there was over 500 nightclubs in this country.
I said that,
now, we have 90, but maybe 40 that are actual nightclubs that are actually in use.
Oh, no, at one stage we had more nightclubs in Dublin per head of population than any other city in Europe. And now I think there's 3 or 4 nightclubs left in Dublin.
Yes.
So the nighttime industry, but it wasn't just COVID. COVID was the last nail in the coffin. The nighttime industry has suffered because of a cultural change, Jackie. And the cultural change is that when I was going to the nightclubs and working in the nightclubs back in the 1980s, people left school. The vast majority didn't go to college. They went to a job at the age of 19. They had disposable income and they had money. And then all of a sudden, every kid was going to college when it came to the 1990s and the mid-1990s. So all of a sudden then, the attendance went down at the nightclubs because they didn't have money. Hence, they then start bringing in student nights. So
true, and true.
So that was a kind of big nail in the coffin, you know?
I know, and just to kind of divert slightly here, is that you have this going on in relation to that. Then you have this whole thing of Eamon Ryan and how he wants to tax people who are driving long journeys. And behind all this thing, you have the hate speech. So I'm wondering, is this just a complete and utter, where this is coming out now? It could have come out a year ago. In relation
Deviate from
a distraction.
100%. It seems to be that's,
yeah. Okay.
Sorry, now.
Well, it won't be a distraction on this show. Thank you for that, Jackie. Oh, by the way, Jessica, how do you get home? Do you get the vomit comet or a taxi?
See, like it depends now. Like if it's me and my mates that live nearby, we'll try and get the last 15. Well, not the last 15 because that's 24 hours now. So we'll get 15 up to around what's it? I think it's the arcade roundabout. It goes up to up that direction towards Malahide Road.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Get the bus up together then. But if it's me and my mate from Finglas and I'm going to Finglas with them, then we're all trying to get a taxi home. And even in Finglas, it can be bad trying to get a taxi.
Yeah, they used to call it that late night bus in our day used to be called the Vomit Comet.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, let me get back to John. Sorry, I was a bit short with him there.
Pizza Express.
John, is this a good idea? I mean, look, even back in Cork's or Henry's and all those places, they were so popular back in the day. There's very few nightclubs now.
No, there's not. Just the latter point first as regards trying to get home. If this is implemented, right? We'd say you try and run buses, either private buses or public transport, and if that gets a bit messy, then you can always withdraw that. But as regards the taxis, right? People say the taxi might walk right through the night. Have some kind of a tax incentive, maybe that if taxis do work after 3 o'clock in the morning, that you get some kind of a tax incentive or whatever, right? Now, I would be in favour of the nightclubs opening because, look, I went actually into the places where there was music, when there was real music there, right? And you come out at 2 o'clock in the morning and you wish to God there was the band playing in your head still and everyone enjoyed themselves.
And your ears would be whistling all night.
absolutely hated going home, like when they used to play the national anthem at 2 o'clock in the morning. And
they were the days, huh? Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, what the hell do we fucking do now? You know what I mean?
Do you remember that when they played the national anthem at the end of the night? They stopped doing that in the nightclubs. Probably, I remember back in the 1980s, right? But we used to. There was some clubs, particularly around the country, that would still play it up until the kind of mid 2000s. But you'd play the national anthem, and everyone was hammer drunk. Nobody knew the words apart from the one line, and everyone would go, "Surely, Connie, you're on." And I had a guy come up to me in Dundalk one night, and we had stopped. The boss said to me, "Listen, that's it. We're done playing the national anthem. No more national anthems. We're sick of it, right?" So after about 3 weeks, nobody really got bothered by the fact that we weren't playing it. And one guy comes up to me one night at the DJ box. He goes, "What's the bleeding story with the Grand National? Are you not going to play it?" I said to him, "What?" He says, "Are you not going to play the bleeding Grand National? Are you a Brit or what?" The Grand National. Anyway, but John, I do miss the old days of the nightclubs, and I would have been the first one to say they should have been open later back in the day. But when I look at the culture now and how much we drink, and I care more about young people, do I really want them open late? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, look, I mean, people are going to drink anyway. Unfortunately, people are probably drinking more than they should. But even that aside, the points being that if they're open to, like, the last time I looked, like, I never understood this, like, when you called a premises a nightclub, the whole idea was then it was a club for the night. That meant right into the late hours of the morning. So how can you call this a nightclub? Like, if it's so that it goes about 1:30 or 2 o'clock and everyone is out on the road, buzzing, the heads buzzing off, and they all fighting outside chippers or inside chippers or whatever. It's just too volatile, right? This idea like that, they'll all be inside in the nightclub at 6 in the morning, it'll be heaving and they'll be all locked over their head. They won't. They'll all go away in different stages. And the real hangers-on, rejects, whatever you want to call them, at 6 in the morning, the body clock will kick in, the alcohol will kick in, and between both, they'll just fall out the door into a taxi and go home. It won't be the end of the world, and if it is the end of the world, they can always legislate it out of existence again.
And the idea that we're doing it because, well, every other modern city does it, is that a good enough reason?
But you know what I mean, like all the people, especially the younger people, now they would be going to nightclubs, even though, as you said, there's not that many of them left, right? They'll go away to the Ibiza and everywhere else there, like them in, and Portugal and whatever, and they're out until 4 or 5 in the morning. They're the same young people that will socialise here. We're completely out of step. As I said, I keep repeating, the idea of a nightclub is that it is open through
But what will happen is the law will be abused, right? And here I'm going to give you this one, right? So, as you rightly said, there isn't that many nightclubs anymore. And nightclubs were also always differentiated from bars or even disco bars by the very fact that they stayed open later. And they had a nightclub license because they do have nightclub licenses now. But what you're going to see now is a lot of bars dickying themselves up, putting in a dance floor and a DJ box and a few lights and saying, we're now a nightclub. And they're going to open later. So you're going to have bars now open till 3 and 4. Although the legislation says bars have to close at 2 and nightclub 6, you'll have bars identifying. Here we go again. A bar identifying as a nightclub.
Yeah. But I think there could be caught there because maybe that's a different process completely that you have to apply for to be an actual nightclub. Then
what is a nightclub? What's versus a bar? What is a nightclub?
Well, the nightclub to me, like, it's separate to a bar. It's somewhere. It's a premises that you go to, like that, outside of the normal bar that we would call the normal bar. That to me is a nightclub. So either it's in the same building, but it's separate to the bar, and then the nightclub belong to the same people, possibly the same owners. But it's just you have to go out one door and in another door.
Okay, okay. Let me go to Sunil if I can. Sunil, hi. How are you?
Hi, Niall. How's it going?
Good. Now, you're in favour of this and you have a very good understanding of the bill for some reason, but we'll find out why. So, Sunil, why are you in favour of it?
Well, listen, we've been campaigning for these changes for almost 20 years. We came or emerged after the original INIA, the Irish Nightclub Owners Association, were campaigning. You would know some of the people involved. It would have been John Reynolds, Robbie Fox, Jay Burke, all of these kind of trailblazers of Dublin nightlife at the time.
I was a bit of a trailblazer myself, by the way, Sunil.
National campaign as well. But what happened at the time, I think we have to kind of look at the main changes that happened to our licensing legislation. They happened, first of all, in 2000. And at that point, that's when we kind of got rid of you'll remember the chicken and chips rule or the chicken curry rule where you had to eat if you were drinking later.
Because they operated on a restaurant license or a hotel license at the time,
Yeah, there was just, in order to be able to go later, there were certain hoops you had to jump through, and there were a lot of changes that were made then that put late bars essentially on an even level with nightclubs, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. It also put a lot more people out on the street at the one time, which kind of gave rise to these calls for stagger closing. It didn't make any. We never had any issue with pubs opening later, but what we had the issue with, and I'm sure you remember this, is that pubs, or that at least nightclubs, didn't get the extensions that they were looking for to separate them as a different type of industry. And you need that overlap. And we're very unique in Ireland in that we don't have a stagger closing system. Fast forward to 2008, when Dermot Ahern could have made amendments, and he could have actually left the theatre licence that was being utilised by a lot of nightclubs at the time in place. Instead, he removed what he called a loophole in the legislation. And since then, for 15 years, over 15 years now, we've been waiting for changes. Just to correct you, I hope you don't mind, but you mentioned that we have a nightclub licence or a nightclub permit. There's been a lot of talk of one, but we don't have one. And
has that not happened? Did that not ever happen?
Now.
See, I've kind of lost touch with the industry. So I thought they had eventually changed it so the nightclubs didn't have to operate, as you mentioned earlier on a restaurant or hotel license.
I think so, because there's been so much talk about it, Niall, but we're still pushing for the same things that the likes of John Reynolds, that the likes of us in the early days were pushing for. We would see this as a moderate reform.
I was part of the campaign, Neil. I worked in the nightclub industry for 25 years, and I was part of the campaign. Give Us the Night, wasn't that the name of the campaign? As far as I remember,
it is the name of the campaign. Yeah, we're still going.
Yeah, okay. And you're working in are you working in the industry yourself, Neil?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I DJ. That's my profession. I'm playing in Dublin tomorrow night. I'm playing in West Cork on Sunday night. I play regularly abroad. I start playing sometimes at 6 a.m. in the morning.
But here's the thing. I feel you've lost out. Because when I say you've lost out, I think you're a lot younger than me, Neil. I don't know how young you are or how old you are, right? But I think you've lost out. I was around at the best time, the 80s, the 90s and the early part of 2000, where the nightclubs were busy, particularly, say, the end of the 80s and into the 90s. The nightclubs were busy 5 nights a week. You'd all the big clubs. I worked in Club M for 18 years. I worked in Coco's. I worked in Faces. I worked in all the big clubs, to Mango. They're all practically gone now. And all the big nightclubs are really gone. We had Night Owls, Break for the Border, Bad Bobs.
I remember them all.
And there were so many nightclubs. As I said earlier on, we had more nightclubs per head of population probably than any other city in Europe. But all of a sudden, the industry the COVID was the final nail in the coffin. But I think there's a lot of other reasons.
Well,
there's a cultural change, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, the industry imploded, particularly when the changes were made in 2008, but then we moved into a recession, and at that point it was like a domino effect. Overnight as well, there were additional costs that were added.
It was happening before that, Sunil. It was happening.
Costs were doubled at the time, and that's also coming in tandem with escalating insurance costs. So it was a perfect storm to really destroy the nightclub industry. And again, some of the changes that we're looking for now are changes that were proposed back in the 1990s. And I heard Jackie mentioned there earlier about Charlie Flanagan, who had come out and in opposition to these changes. The amendments that he brought to the Dáil back in 2008 to Dermot Ahern at the time was to create a specific nightclub permit or nightclub licence where nightclubs would only be able to open between 10 o'clock at night and 4 o'clock in the morning, whether that meant then that they left at 3:30, but at the time that would have been appropriate. So the fact that he was a champion of the nightclub industry then, when he perhaps had local nightclub operators and the association approaching him, versus now when there's very little nightlife left in Laois. I mean, I heard about Mantra nightclub earlier. Breda was talking about it.
I worked there,
almost reminisce, or I don't know if she laments the loss of Mantra, but she reminisced about good times she had in Maynooth in her younger days. I mean, there's no nightclub in Maynooth anymore. There should be. There's a huge student population there. That has to be rectified. We need a nightclub in Maynooth. There's a lot of counties, let alone towns. There's a lot of counties now that are down to their very last nightclub. And we know a lot of this is about demand. And
where are the big nightclubs in Dublin now? Is Club M still there, by the way? in Blooms?
Club M, actually, now that you say, it's still lying there. It's not doing much. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with it next. I think there's a lot of like operators and, you know, owners of these spaces that are looking at the licensing.
Tamango is another one that's just sitting idle at the moment. It's still there, by the way.
It is sitting. It's one of the few. I mean, Tamango's gets used a bit, but not as a weekly nightclub anymore.
Yeah, I worked there for years. It was my first nightclub working one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few, obviously there's a hardcore street venues. I mean, there's another argument as well about, you know, would you move nightclubs and nightlife out to more kind of industrial areas or areas outside of the centre and urban areas where there's already a lot of activity? Like we would definitely feel that, and it was mentioned by some of your callers earlier, that if you don't force people into having to leave a venue at a certain time, that they will just find the time. And the venue themselves will find their own sweet spot as well. Staffing was mentioned earlier. At the moment, okay, and Jackie mentioned 90 nightclubs. We're at about 90 nightclubs now. We calculated, and we did a lot of public talks over the last month or 6 weeks. Generally, we would see it as being about probably 10%, about 10 to 15 nightclubs in the entire country at the moment who are kind of figuring that they will go later. Most venues just want to have that flexibility.
When you say 90, when you say there's 90 nightclubs, are they dedicated nightclubs or are some of them late bars?
No, they're not late bars. We have a way of calculating it that they're specialist venues with advertised lineups that are events driven, that charge a ticket price in on the door, that have a sufficient amount of dance floor space. And you mentioned earlier, like what would constitute a nightclub. You're going to have 20% of your public space has to be a dance floor. I mean, some proper nightclubs, and I was in one the other week in Electric in Galway, nearly all of their space is a dance floor, so they'll have no problems. And also, you have to have your own front door entrance. You can't access the nightclub through an existing daytime licensed business or venue.
Okay, so there's regulations around all that. So in other words, what you're saying to me is, if they bring in this legislation of 2 o'clock for bars and 6 for nightclubs, you're not going to have late bars kind of re-identifying as nightclubs.
No, they'll have to. If they did want to do that, and there's nothing to say that many of them will, but if they did, they would have to tick a lot of boxes in relation to planning. I've spoken to one particular licensing solicitor about this, and she's been consistent on this. She says that her issues in terms of like getting licenses granted, etc., the problem is never with licensing, especially these days. It's always with planning, and planning will be the undoing of a lot of people's applications. And, you know, there's a lot of stakeholders who will have input into the renewal process and the application process. Hopefully those applications will be yearly now rather than monthly, but there will be a very rigorous application process before anyone can get a nightclub permit. So just before
I finish up with you, do you think we'll ever see, you know, the 80s, 90s and the early part of 2000, that kind of era of the nightclub, that popularity of the nightclub, where people went for the music and the drink was an optional extra? Do you think, and by the way, I think a lot of it's to do with as well the music. Music is so fragmented now, it's so diluted, whereas in those days, there was specific music that was popular. Everybody knew the same specific music. Everybody went to the clubs for the same specific music, be it was house or whatever, or techno or wherever it was at the time. Or if I go right back to my days in Rumours, it was acid. So everybody went for the specific music at the time and enjoyed. Everybody knew the words of the songs or the music or whatever it happened to be. But that kind of all changed. And I think that was a huge part of it as well. That was a part of the decline, the cultural decline.
I know. I mean, I suppose it depends how involved you are in it. I mean, there's some styles of dance music coming through now that I wouldn't be a huge fan of, but I do look at it. I do analyse it. I look, like, there are still tribes, there are still groups that go out, that stay together, that know all of the music, know all of the tracks that are being played. And, you know, it just is a little bit smaller than it used to be. And it's maybe even fashion styles don't stick out in the same way that they used to, where you'd see a rocker, a raver, you know, a hip-hop head, somebody like in goth wear or makeup. You know, it's changed a little bit in that way. I mean, I think sportswear but kind of like mild sportswear, you know, it's not the baggy kind of, you know, sportswear that it used to be in the past. It's sort of, I don't know the best way of putting it, but like, I suppose those who are into dance culture don't stick out or stand out as much in the crowds as they used to. But it's happening. I mean, club music in a lot of ways has never been more popular in terms of electronic music. It's filling venues like the Tree Arena. It's filling the RDS.
But it's quite nostalgic when you see what's filling the Tree Arena. It's like gigs that have people like, Two Unlimited and Technotronic.
Throwback stuff.
The throwback stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Sunil, it's been nice talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for clarifying all offers. I appreciate it. Let me just go to Lorenzo before I finish as well. Lorenzo, hi, how are you?
Hi, Niall, how are you?
Good, Lorenzo. You're from, obviously, in Italy. They open later than they do here.
Usually, when I was going to the rock disco that I was going to, we were getting in around 11, half 11, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside.
And what time would you leave us?
Probably 3:30, 4.
Okay, so you wouldn't say. What time were they allowed open till, by the way?
Well, I think until 5 with no problem. It's just that usually, obviously, after a certain time, they were like starting to turn on more the lights, or things like that.
Yeah, it just wasn't viable to stay open later. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I remember even the music, obviously up until a certain time was for everyone, and then after a while was a bit more specific. So like if you like that music, you were staying in. If you didn't like, you were staying in for other 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum, and then go away. But I think that before 3, you were not still leaving the place. Go home.
And do you think it's a good idea? I mean, look, we haven't had that in this country. 2:30 is the kind of limit in this country. Do you think it's a good idea for us to open later? Because let's be clear about it. We're way ahead of Italy when it comes to our drink culture.
Well, but I think that the problem here is the same as the culture in the pub. When the pub is closing, you're basically calling for the last drink. So then you have this kind of river of people going to the bar, getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 drinks to get them the time to be able to buy them and then drink them in the next time. And that is the same. I mean, it would be, I'd say that might be more the problem than the time of closing the pub or the disco, because if you don't say anything, there will be no people rushing to drink, get savagely drunk, and then go on the street completely drunk that they can't near.
Yeah, no. Maybe you're right. That's what Irish people do, because we know we've only got a short amount of time to do it in. We binge drink. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point to do that. Maybe moving the time to 6, you don't get to that point, because by 4, half 4, you're already drunk, you're tired, you want to go home, so there will be no rush to get another drink, because otherwise they close. You'll be already tired by 5, I'd say, that you want to go home then.
No, absolutely. Listen, Lorenzo, thank you. I have to cut you a little bit short. I do apologise. I'm running out of time, but thank you very much indeed, Lorenzo. Lorenzo's got a point, and probably most people have a point. I think we have to bite the bullet. I would be a complete hypocrite to say that I'm completely against it, because, like Sunil, I fought for years. I was part of the Give Us a Night or Give Us the Night campaign at the time, where we demanded that the nightclubs be allowed to open later and differentiate them from bars to get their business back and get that culture. Because for all those young people out there who have never experienced that culture, it's an amazing culture. It was a wonderful time back in the 80s and 90s, and I know I'm reminiscing a little bit. But I also say as well, by the way, to Sunil, if he's still listening, bring back the slow set. I know that's a bit outdated, but it was a good reason for lads and ladies to want to go to a nightclub, to meet somebody, and the slow set gave them that opportunity. Thank you to everybody who got involved in the topic. Don't forget to support the show. You can download the podcast for this topic after the show at about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. And don't forget, go to our website. You can download all of the episodes. You can watch them all on video as well if you subscribe or donate. Remember, we need your donations. We need your subscriptions. So please help us. We got 1 or 2 comments and voice notes just in relation to this, by the way, that I want to just read out and play, and then we're just going to move on because I know there's some people waiting there. I'll come to the WhatsApp in a second. I'll just read them out for you. Oh, there it is there. I do apologise. It just wasn't opening up for me. Some of the comments coming in says, harebrained idea, but they're only thinking of the extra revenue. As healthcare workers, this will only put more pressure on the already strained system. Yeah, I can see why that would happen. Maybe just play a WhatsApp voice note for you here.
How are you, Niall? Not P. Because I think I'm getting jealous now of me calling Pete all the time. Excuse me, I'm the host. My name is Niall Boylan, not Pete, the fucking producer. So, hello, Niall, me old pal. Just be on the safe side. No, nightclubs, no. Stay the way they are. Don't be opening them all night. It's a recipe for separations. It's a recipe for divorces. It's a recipe for trouble in the houses. No, no. Cheers, pal. I talk to you later.
There's something wrong with him. Anyway, years from now, there'll be a new law to take more of our freedoms because of the crime epidemic they'll have created. And that comes in from Jesus on X. And Malice says, I used to be part of a part-time barman, and Good Friday was our outing day. It was the only day of the year that we could actually could have a staff social. When you were serving drink all of the time, you've no problem relaxing with a 7-Up. Those who came after me have been robbed of their staff day out. Christmas is for family. That's, of course, in relation to Good Friday. So thank you for getting involved in the topic. Don't forget, as I said, please go to our website, www.niallboylan.com, and donate or subscribe if you can to help us to continue to provide this platform for you every single day. Now, I want to read out this email to you and get your reaction. Don't forget, at any stage, you can message or WhatsApp on 085 100 22 55. That's 085 100 22 55. Hi, guys. I really need advice very quickly. I've been on the housing list for the last 7 years and currently on HAP, and we live in an area, let's just say it's not the best, and I have 3 young children. I've been on the council for years trying to get housed, but the house we rent is a kip, and there's nothing else we can afford. Last week, all our prayers were answered. The council offered me a viewing, and it's a house in a lovely area, not far from where our house is. It's barely been lived in. It was abandoned by a family who immigrated and only built 6 months ago. When we went to see it, our eyes lit up. It had an extra bedroom and so much more space than the kip we live in. And it has a bigger back garden, whereas the one we rent only has a small space out the back. Everything looks new and modern, and the kitchen is beautiful, and open plan and everything I've ever dreamed of. We couldn't wait to accept the offer, but then the problem arose. And that is, there's no pets allowed in the area. And according to the housing authority lady, they're very strict on the rule. We have a 5-year-old staffy called Maisie, and we love her to bits. My partner said we need to rehome the dog and take the house, and we only have until next week to decide. I'm surprised they even given you till next week. They normally only give you a few days. And I've said that we can't just abandon the dog. It would be like abandoning one of the children. My partner said our new home and our kids are our future, and that's much more important than the dog. And we'll find somebody to take the dog, but I'm not sure, as we've already asked our small circle of friends and family, and nobody's interested. My partner suggested maybe bringing the dog to Dogs Trust or SPCA, but I can't do that to the dog. It seems easy for him to forget the dog with the excitement of the new home, but I just don't feel that way. Although I love the home and I know the kids would be much safer and happier there, I can't leave the dog behind. The kids have already moved in their heads, and so I can't imagine life without Maisie. He thinks I'm being ridiculous, even considering turning down the offer because of the dog. He said, sure, the dog will be dead in a few short years, and we will have missed our dream home and the opportunity. What am I going to do? Is I feel like the baddie in this situation. And my partner is saying we can't deprive our children of a beautiful home and area. I even asked the authority, would there be another one available soon? She said she will try her best but can't guarantee it. It would be like this one, as it's a diamond and most are not quite as good as this. What should I do? Abandon the dog or abandon the house? Let me know what you think. Abandon the dog or abandon the house? 085 100 22 55. Now, a lot of people have commented online and saying that in most places you're allowed to have one dog. There are some council areas that don't allow pets. Most council areas that do allow pets don't allow dogs on the restricted breed list. And I think that may be the problem she has. I think she's confusing it slightly. But she does mention it's a staffy. That would be on the restricted dogs list. You're not allowed in most council areas to keep a dog on the restricted list. Anyway, what should she do? Abandon the dog or abandon the house? Let me know what you think. Lorraine, hi, how are you?
Hi, Niall, how are you?
Good. Lorraine, abandon the dog or abandon the house?
I think you already know my answer to this.
I now, in my own head, I know your answer to this, but I'm thinking, is she mad?
I would, as I've said before, I have got a dog on the restricted breed list. She's a German Shepherd, Lulu. And if I wasn't allowed to bring her, I'm in a council house as well, and one of the conditions on me taking the house was I bring the dog with me, and if I wasn't allowed to bring her, I would have given the house up.
By the way, a lot of council houses don't allow dogs on the restricted dog breed list.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I completely understand that, and I understand that German Shepherd or Staffy can be perceived as dangerous dogs.
Yeah.
But as I explained, I have 3 kids. Lulu is a family pet. She is one of my kids, as you all know. I said to the council, either I can bring her with me, or you can look for something else, somebody else to put into the house. I couldn't turn my back on my dog.
It's becoming more common. There was an article in the paper last year about it, actually. It's becoming more and more common now for council houses to be offered with a restriction of no pets allowed.
Oh, I get that. No, I understand that, and I understand. But as I said, if the dog, like Lulu is part of my family, and I explained when I went to view the house, when I was offered the house, I explained that I had a dog. She was a German Shepherd, and I explained if I wasn't allowed to bring her, or if she's on the restricted dog list, you're going to tell me when you offered me the house that I can't bring her, that I didn't even want to go see the house. So my council,
I see what you're saying, and I know how much people love their dogs, and dogs are really important to people, and they're like members of the family, and I get all of that, right? But she's got 3 kids, a husband or partner, whatever it is, and she's just been offered something that very few people get offered: a really nice house, practically brand new, 6 months old, in a lovely area. I mean, you've won the jackpot. And
would the council not work with her though, like mine did? Mine, where I am in Westmeath, as I said, I explained about my dog, and she was a German Shepherd, and before I went to view the house and that, I explained to them when they worked with me. So would they work with her with the dog? Or
she's already said, according to the Housing Authority lady, they're very strict on the rule.
See, me personally, I couldn't. I as I said, like I have 3 kids, and I have Lulu, and then I have Jay, but I couldn't.
Jay is your last animal, is he?
Yeah, but I couldn't imagine life without that dog. That dog has got me through some hard times.
So you turned down the house. So if you were this woman, you turn down the house.
I would turn down the house.
And
that's being honest.
And your kids would be, and you and your kids and your partner are left in, as she describes by her own words, a kip.
It's me. I would turn down the house. The dog is that important to me. Lulu is that important to me. I would turn down the husband.
Okay, the husband said, "Sure, the dog will be dead in a few short years."
I would have. Jay'd be dead quicker.
And we'll have missed our dream home.
No,
they'll be there for life.
Quicker.
They'll be there for life. The dog will be dead in 10 years. They'll be there for life.
But the dog, it's not a new dog. Like, it's a dog they've had for 5 years. It's not just a dog they've had for a couple of months. It is a member of the family. Like,
I mean, it's a really difficult. I know it's a difficult, sad situation. I get that. But you have to use your head in these situations and think of your family as well. And I understand all of that. It would be heartbreaking. But you got to think of the kids.
I personally couldn't do it. I personally could not turn my back on Lulu. No way. I couldn't. I would turn down the house. If it was me, everyone's going to think I'm mad, and I know the phone call.
No, they won't. No, I can guarantee you most people are going to agree with you. That's the problem.
They're all going to think I'm mad, but I couldn't. She has got me. Lulu is like one of my children. She has got me through some hard times, and she has been, it's going to sound mad, there for me when Jay's not here. I couldn't. I would turn the house down.
Let me just go to Jen. Jen, hi, how are you? Stay there, Lorraine.
Hi, how are you doing?
Jen, this is a tough situation, isn't it?
I feel so sad after hearing her email. Like, I feel like crying for her and her family. This is it's just not right. I have a friend who's been on the housing list for years, so I know what a jackpot this letter is. She hasn't even heard from them in about 5 or 6 years. She's been on it 10 years. Because she's Irish and she's a single mother and she's not from Ukraine, she's not even getting looked at. But I can't imagine turning down this amazing house.
It would be rare. It's rare that you would be offered, as she calls it, a diamond, right? I mean, it's a 6-month-old house.
Anything.
Oh, well, true, yeah. That's true.
It's to be offered anything. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, 6-month-old house in a nice area. I mean, what more can you ask for?
I'm wondering, what do the kids feel? Because like Lorraine, I have a dog called Bandit. I got him right before COVID. I have been trying to adopt a dog for many months. And then we happened to get him in February 2020. And like Lorraine was saying, he has been my lifesaver. I'm a nurse. I had to go up to COVID ICU in March and April. And I was, no one wanted to be near me in case I had the virus. And the only one who was near me was Bandit. You remember back in March 2020?
Oh, I do, yeah. Everyone was avoiding each other. It was like the plague, literally.
But also, too,
yeah.
because I didn't know what kind of disease it was or if it was airborne or droplets. I remember they were like, you're carrying it, but neither here nor there.
The dog was your only friend. Yeah.
He was my only friend. And like that, I'd like to know, I would probably have to, I know what a golden ticket this is, but as Lorraine said, like, Bandit is my third baby. Like, I call him, I have 2 girls. I was like, where's your brother? He'll mind you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine. Like, I wonder how her kids would feel. Like,
Bandit and Lulu would get on great, by the way, can I just point out?
Oh, my God, totally. Yeah, no, but they all...
See, I'm not the only mad one.
You're both mad.
I call him my favorite child because he's the boy I never had. And, like, that's the big joke, like, in the family. But,
by the way, I'm going to make a guess, by the way, Jen, from your accent, because somebody just said in my ear, I bet she's from Boston. And I said, no, I bet she's from Brooklyn.
No, the Bronx. You're all wrong. The Bronx.
Okay, we were just guessing.
But I know they all make fun of me at work, dog and coffee and cough and all the rest of it. But no, I'd like to know how do her kids feel because like that, if thankfully I'm lucky that I have a house. I'm very, very blessed. But I would imagine, like, if I said to my kids, we've had Bandit now for 4 years, if I told them we had to get rid of him for some reason, they would be devastated. Like, when we were on holiday, like,
but she says in her email that the kids are already planning the move in. They're delighted.
That's what I'm confused. So that's what I don't know. I'm confused because, really you'd have to, like, the way I feel, like, you have to kind of take in your partner and your kids' feelings too. So I don't have any advice. I just have heartfelt sympathy for her. And I think we live in a shocking country that a local council could do this to people. And I just think it's wrong on so many levels. And my heart goes out to her kids, her dog, and her partner. And I hope they make the best decision for them.
Stay there. Well, stay there, both of you. Now I'm going to put the rat in among the pigeons, or the Steve, hi.
Lorraine.
Yes,
Why do I know what you're going to say, Steve?
So, well, I'm genuinely shocked by this. I can't believe that people would actually put the needs of an animal before their family.
But it is their family. It is their Bandit.
Lulu is my family.
And Bandit is Jen's family.
Lorraine said that people are going to think I'm mad, and Niall said, no, they won't. Niall, you're wrong. I don't think she's mad. I think she's knocking foots. She's off her head. There's something wrong with her. If you'd give up your dream home for your kids, your lovely little kids. The ones that will live a hell of a lot longer than a dog.
Well, Lulu is one of my kids.
How old is Lulu?
7.
Lulu ain't got long left.
Oh, don't say that. Steve,
ain't got long
don't
left.
Don't go there. Don't go there, Steve. You'll upset her and Jay. He'll kill you.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, Lulu's on her last legs. So to be putting the needs of something
perfectly healthy and perfectly healthy and perfectly, she's in great form. We had her in the vet.
Just out of curiosity, Lorraine, what breed is your dog?
She's a German Shepherd.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I assumed you had a handbag dog, one of those little tiny, horrible yappy things. Okay, fair enough. Either way, look, I get that people are, affectionate and they love their animals, but in this scenario, I mean, are you looking at it realistically? Don't blame the council. Don't blame anybody else. Blame yourself. If you're not going to take a home, your forever home for your kids because of a dog, there's something wrong with you.
I was in this situation 3 years ago. I got offered my council house and I knew Lulu was on the restricted dog list. And before I went to view it, I said to my council, I have a German Shepherd and if I can't bring her with me, I don't want to see the house and I don't want it.
Well, what I would be telling the kids in this situation is, the dog is going to a farm in the country, and we all know what that translates to.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, farm in the country, never to come back.
Yeah, never to come back. Yeah, where's the dog? Oh, it's in a farm in the country. Basically, you brought it to the vets and gave it a needle.
Steve, but you don't have to. Steve, you can get it rehomed if you really want to go down that route. You don't have to put the dog asleep.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Why would you put the dog? Why would you put a healthy dog asleep?
I'll tell you why, Niall. I'll tell you why. Because the callers that you have on this show are such fucking hypocrites. I swear to God, they really are. Because they love their dogs so much, yet they care so little about other animals. so little about
I
them.
didn't say I
This
didn't
is
care little about other animals.
Well, you eat them, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not a vegetarian. It doesn't mean that I don't care about animals.
So you care about an animal that you're eating. That's a bit of an...
Well, okay, wait, sorry, Jen, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just listening to these two.
Yeah, to these two. Yeah. But you heard what Steve said. Like, the house is forever. The animal is only, well, in Lorraine's case, sorry, Lorraine, another 6 or 7 years.
2 years.
Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah, no, like I said, I have a friend who has been waiting to hear from the council. I have no advice to give this woman. I just feel sad that she's in this predicament. I honestly would not know what to do, honestly. If I had to, rehome my dog, I personally would be devastated, but I also have a house. So, honestly, I have no advice. I just have love and prayers for this woman and her family.
Oh, God.
How's about this for advice?
Yeah.
Get rid of the dog. It's a very simple solution. And I don't know why that these two callers are overlooking it. Just get rid of the dog because
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Okay, it might not be easy.
Sorry,
I get
have
it.
you ever had it? No, do you get it? Have you ever had an animal in your entire life? Have you ever owned a dog?
I've had loads of dogs.
How old were you? Were you a child? Did you have any? Did anything that did you have no connection to them?
No, none whatsoever. I have no feelings towards animals whatsoever. The animals to me don't bother me. I go out hunting.
You're not that heartless, Stephen.
No, seriously, I've gone out hunting many times. I have no problem.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yeah, but
so that's
but you wouldn't abide intentional cruelty to an animal either.
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't personally be intentionally cruel to an animal. Whether somebody else is or not, if I saw it, I'd stop them. But no, generally it doesn't bother me. Like animals being brought to farms and badly treated. I mean, you only had to see that documentary on RTE. Was it last year, where the pigs or the cattle or something were being treated really badly, and everybody was going, "Oh my God, the poor animals," and they were all crying. And you're going, "You arsehole! You're sitting down and eating that very same animal you just saw getting a kicking."
No, I know that I do understand the point you're making. There's a level of hypocrisy, and I get that. But in saying, no, there is a level of hypocrisy, and I'm the biggest hypocrite of all. I hate cruelty to animals, but yeah, I'd eat a burger. But okay, I get you. I do get you. But this is different. The animal, like in this case, Lorraine's dog Lulu, is living with her.
She is.
She's not on the plate or in the oven. She's living with her.
Lorraine, my dear, you need to get out more and get a few friends. You really do.
I have friends, but Lulu's my best friend.
Your best friend is a dog.
Yeah.
hang on. Just before I go to Morris, I've just got a voice note here I need to play that I've been told is extremely important. All right? Hang on.
Hey Niall, any chance you can stop trying to cheer me up today? I know where I stand in that house with Lorraine and that dog. You might as well go to the nearest brick wall you have there, Niall, and bang your head off it. Because that's the way it is when it comes to Lulu.
I don't know if Lorraine heard that because sometimes the callers can't hear. Okay, yeah, that was your Jay. That's your husband. Yeah, he knows his place.
He does.
Hang on. Morris, hi.
Oh, Jay's in love with a Lulu. There's the one for the people, huh?
Yeah. Lorraine and Lulu, huh?
Yeah. Listen, I'm very similar to Steve, funny enough. I said to your researcher earlier on, I'd gladly come to any family and shoot the dog in the head and bring it down to the local Chinese. And Lulu sounds like a lovely name for the 57 in the Chinese takeaway.
I'm going to kill you and Stephen. If I ever find you and Stephen, I'm going to kill the two of you.
Listen, do you remember growing up as a kid, we couldn't say the posh word, "Hey, mister, is that dog in Nala Station?" No, actually.
Lulu and curry sauce.
Yeah, there you go. Number 57, please, with prawn crackers. But listen, Niall, I can't believe that at this day and age that there's a council out there that doesn't allow pets in a home.
There is. No, hang on.
People have budgies. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no. It is when they say pets, they're talking primarily about dogs, right? And cats. You can keep goldfish and lizards and snakes all you want, right? But there is okay. There was an article in the paper last year that it's become more common for the council to offer people houses with a restriction on no pets. There's also a restriction that's been around for years in most council areas that if you take a council house, you can't have a dog that's on the restricted breed list. Now, this dog she has is on the restricted breed list, like Lorraine.
Right.
So it's a staff.
Lulu is as well.
Yeah, like Lulu is. Yeah. So there
Okay,
are
well,
a lot of council houses with restrictions. Yeah.
I'm with family. To me, family comes first. Forever home. Everybody gets together, and the dog comes later down the road. If they've had it for 5 years, if they can't rehome it, to be honest with you, if you love it that much, get it shot, get it stuffed, and get the taxidermy and get it melted. Have it in your front window. And say, look at that lovely garden you could have run around. Yeah. So there you go. Everybody's a winner. The dog is still in the home, except he doesn't do anything but look there. Look at you go.
And doesn't show you everywhere.
Yeah. You know what? I had a lovely 7 years with you, and thanks for the stuffing.
Oh, that's so mean.
It's not. It's reality. I'd do it to my wife if I could get away with it.
Stuffer and butter on the mantelpiece.
You know what the priest said to me when I was walking up the altar? This is the day you realise you can't be happy all your life.
So, Morris, are you being serious in relation to the dog? Do you believe she should abandon the dog and take this home? This is a dream home. It's a brand new house. It's everything she's ever wanted. It's a lovely area for the kids. They're in a kip at the moment by her own admission. So you think she should take it and abandon the dog?
Exactly. You're not abandoning it. You're sacrificing the dog for the happiness of your children and the happiness of a home.
There you go. Sacrifice.
I'd say, as they say in the cartoon, let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Off the Joe. Let it go.
No, I couldn't.
When you're celebrating your parting of the dog, you could have a cup of coffee. Then you'd be grand.
I couldn't.
Lorraine, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, Lorraine? Right, now do me a favour, right? Let's pretend Niall and Morris and the listeners out in there, it's just me and you. We're talking, we're buddies. We're sitting down and having a cup of coffee here. Right, so Lorraine, do you love the dog more than you love your fella?
Do I love Lulu more than Jay? Yes.
Wow. Jay, I hope you're listening.
He is listening. But here's the thing, Morris. Jay knows that already. This is not a big deal.
Knows that.
Yeah, like if the house was burning down and the fireman said, or you said, "Oh, my husband and my dog are in the house, Lulu and Jay," and the fireman says, "I can only save one." I know what Lorraine would say.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Save Lulu.
Niall.
Yeah.
All my adult life, all my childhood life, we had about 10 dogs that ended up on the farm. So I know what it's like.
I had one dog that ended up on the farm.
9 or 10 we had.
I can still remember the dog just missing one day. I asked, I remember as a kid, "Where's the dog?" "It's gone to a farm."
Yeah.
Gave it to a farmer.
My father was a culchie from Kerry, right, that moved up to Dublin and ran away with my mother. And he'd go, "Oh, the whole farmer now needed a hand to get the sheep in." And we'd go, "Jesus, Lassie's a great dog for bringing in the sheep." And then Bruno went, and then Toby went, and then Rasher went, and then Blondie went.
Rasher. Yeah, I mean, but at least they're decent dog names. But Lulu's not really a dog name, is it?
The best dog I ever
Rasher's
had
not a dog name.
my neighbour's dog, and his name was Rinty Lawler. I never forgot him. He'd catch a lump of coal out of the air at 100 feet.
Yeah. Dogs even have second names now, it seems. Thank you, Morris. Let me go to Albert. Stay there, Lorraine. Albert, hi.
Yeah, hi, Niall.
How you doing?
Look, it's a real Hobson's choice here, isn't it? She's stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, if she loves her dog, I mean, we've got 3 dogs. Couldn't see us doing or having the choice that she'd have. Oh my God, it's really awful.
What would you do?
Well, I don't know. I think I probably wouldn't take the house.
You wouldn't take the house?
Oh,
you'd stay in the kip rather than take the house because you had to get rid of the dog.
But the problem is that like the dog becomes one of the family. The dog might as well be one of your children. I mean, if you had 3 kids, would you give one of them away and say, "Well, we'll move with the other 2 and take the house"? That's the way it becomes. It's you know, I think you've got to be in the situation to understand it. You know, it's very hard. I mean, it's easy for someone who doesn't have a dog to say, "I should get rid of the dog." But when you have a dog for 5 years, the dog it gives you unconditional love, and you know you just can't do that. Just can't.
Albert, newsflash, your dog is not one of your kids. Not one of your kids.
I know, I understand that. But
can I just point out it's
like
a different
species?
Yeah, but it's a different
I understand
species.
That. I understand that.
It doesn't even
but
talk
you have to be there to understand it, you know?
I've had dogs, It sits there wagging its tail, looking at you and all happy and stuff. Yeah, it's cute. I get it. I get the fact that dogs are cute. I get that, but you're giving up a home for your children, your missus, your future, all for the want of a dog that's going to pop its clogs in a couple of years' time. So you'd put your children through crap.
It's not that easy. It's not.
So what you're saying is you would allow your children to.
Oh, sorry.
People.
Yeah. So wait, Lorraine. Sorry, Steve. You said Lulu is one of your kids.
Yeah.
Lulu is not one of your kids, Lorraine.
Different species. You didn't give birth.
All right, I didn't give birth to her, but she is like one of my kids. 100%.
No, she's not.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not on my own. I'm not the only man.
You agree that Lulu's one of Lorraine's kids, or what?
No, I agree that when you have an animal, it becomes like it's part of your family. Okay, it's not going to be one of your kids, and maybe it's probably the wrong way to say it.
What about goldfish?
But they do become part of your family.
What about Goldie the goldfish? Does that become part of your family?
Believe me, I had a goldfish for 10 years, and believe me, it got treated better than one of us. It was a little pet. So,
and Herman the hamster?
It was one of the family.
Herman the hamster.
Are these family members? Do they get their surname? Do they have birth certs?
I remember in the old days, dogs had surnames. I remember people because dogs used to roam the streets when I was a kid, right? They weren't in houses. And our dog's name was Terry. And people used to call him Terry Boylan. They used to go, Terry Boylan, come here. And then they'd actually give him a second name. That was really
this is but it's not for...
No, on a very serious note. No, let's be serious just for 2 minutes if we can. Albert, this woman has just been, she's on the council housing list for years. She's in a KIP at the moment that she doesn't like. She can't afford anything else. She's on the HAP scheme, right? She's just been offered a house, which is rare in this day and age at the moment, as you know how difficult it is to get housing. Not just a house, but a house that's brand new in a really nice area with a modern kitchen, bigger than her own house, with a back garden that she didn't really have in the last house. And she's turning it down for a dog? Really, Albert? Come on. She's got 3 kids.
Yeah, look, I understand where you're coming from with it, but the dog is part of the family. As I say, look, when you become attached to an animal like that, it is like one of your kids.
I know, and I love animals, and I loved my dogs throughout the years, etc., etc. And I get it, I get all of that, but you still have to put your logical hat on you at some point.
Well, let me ask Albert a question there, Niall. Let me ask him a question. Albert, let's say you came to my house, and out in the back garden, I had a pet cow, right? I had Sally the pet cow. And you look at me and you go, is he bleeding mad or what? He has a pet cow. And I go, oh, Sally's a part of my family. I love her to bits. She's my best friend. I talk to her all the time. You would say to me, you wouldn't probably say it to me, but you would definitely think there's something wrong with him.
I wouldn't, because my sister lives on a farm. They've got pet goats. They've got all sorts of things, and they're all little pets going around the place. But they don't end up on the plate. That's the thing. They stay there. They just enjoy themselves roaming around. She doesn't have them as
a great farm, is it?
Farm on the plate. Yeah, that's it.
I get it. Let me go to Jonathan. Lorraine, you want to see some of the text coming in here? They all think you're mental. Jonathan, hi. There's nothing new about it.
How are you?
Good, Jonathan. I understand people love their dogs and their cats and everything else, but I mean,
their cows.
Yeah, would you give up a dog for a new house?
No, look, like you said yourself, Dan. How long is she going to be waiting for another house? You've kids.
She might never get an opportunity like this again. She won't. Now she turns this down. The next one she gets offered could be a dump. You know what I mean?
Let her ask herself the question: is that house far from where she is now, or would you be passing by that house? No,
it's actually near where she is at the moment, but in a much nicer area. She said.
Right. Well, if she's driving past that house in a year's time, there's a family sitting in there and loving the life, the new house and all that, and she's at home with her dog in her kip, like you said, when her 3 kids are in school and all the rest. But you have common sense has to prevail. Look, I have a dog, but if I needed to move house tomorrow, the dog would have to go. If that was the, bottom line for it.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Who doesn't love that dog, Yeah. But, at the end of the day, it's just to think. There's 3 kids. The husband wants to go. How's he going to feel if this falls apart next week? You know, what kind of atmosphere is going to be in the house that they're in now, you know?
Oh, can you, Lorraine, can you imagine it? Can you imagine the atmosphere, Lorraine, in the house if they turn this down?
I could imagine, but could you imagine how she's going to feel having to give up her dog and part of her family?
Look,
She'll be sad.
Your dog doesn't have a forever memory. Your dog will, look, if it gets a good home going forward, hopefully it does. It goes into a good home. It'll be well taken care of. It'll be all okay. But again, Lorraine, you have kids to raise. You know, your priorities have to be. What's more important for yourself?
I've been in this situation. 3 years ago, I was offered my council house. And I was told, I told them before I moved into it, I have a dog on the restricted dog list. If I can't bring her with me, I don't want the house. And that was
I can understand that's your bottom line with it, and I'm not disagreeing with your bottom line, but again, your husband wants to go. The 3 kids have already moved in the head, if I believe you said that earlier on in your text. Everyone's out of that house you're in already, in their heads. They're all looking forward to their better future, summer ahead, barbecues in the back garden, swing set, whatever it is. You know, and you're going to put all that on the line for a dog. And I'm not disputing that you love your dog very much. I'm not disputing it's a great therapeutic thing to bring your dog for a walk and all that. I have a dog myself. It's great. I understand all that. But bottom line, I have 3 kids as well. If I was in a kip and I wasn't happy and we were struggling, we were suffering, mental health was falling apart, and someone offered me at the house with the decision to get rid of the dog, you know.
Well, hang on. I just want to bring Sarah in on this as well. Sarah, hi. How are you?
How's it going, Niall?
How you doing? Okay, you do pet therapy every Monday.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
And it's very effective for people.
Yeah.
And I think it only breaks children's hearts, actually, if they took that dog away from that family home. 5 years, come on.
Totally agree.
You know, and it's not fair. I'd actually sneak the dog into the house and say no. That's what I do.
I don't know. I know people love their pets, Sarah. You know what I mean? You can't just sneak the dog into the house. Somebody will snitch. Somebody will snitch.
Yeah, but Niall, what you can do is, right, you can get a friend or family to take the dog for a couple of weeks, wait till things air out, turn down a bit, and then move the dog in. And be sure whatever house they're going to, that there's other people around the area that have dogs. And you could be sure of that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but somebody could, if somebody could say, at least with Lorraine, she got permission in the end, right? But so if you bring a dog, particularly a dog that's on the restricted breed list, Sarah, and it is a dog on the restricted breed list, to an area and somebody complains, the dog is going to have to go. It'll have to go anyway.
That doesn't make sense. I'm telling you now. Actually, do you know what? I know somebody, right, that got a rescue dog, and it was a mutt thing, and he had it for a couple of years. And the benefits that one of our children got from the dog, and that actually interfered with his growth, his personal growth. You know what I mean?
Not having a house will interfere more.
Yeah, I was going to say the same to Steve.
You know what? If I got a hold of you, I'd put you in the oven, I would. You know that? Or I'd stuff you and hang you on the wall. Go on now with that. You need to stuff love. I know there's probably not getting done already, but I mean in another area.
Let me ask Lorraine one more question. So, Lorraine, we've garnered from this conversation and previous conversations that you love Lulu more than your own partner, which is slightly weird. So, let me ask you a slightly different question. If you had to choose between Lulu or one of your children,
obviously, my kid. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
if it came down to it between my my babies that I've birthed and the dog, babies that I birthed come first. My babies my babies.
She's even. Hold on for a second. Hang on. Stop there for a second. She's actually thinking about this. This is Lorraine. Lorraine, we have to accept this is an unhealthy relationship. You and
obviously,
Lulu.
my kids would come first. My kids would come first.
Okay,
Obviously,
so now that great, and I'm so happy you said that. You don't need psychiatric help. So here, if your kids do come first, then that's what should happen in this situation. The woman's kids should come first. They need a home more than they need a dog.
Sarah, hold on? Sarah, would you not agree with that? They need a home more than they need a dog.
I don't care. Well, you need a dog as well to make a home. So, it's like you need, you know.
What's your dog's name? What's your dog's name again? Boomer, isn't it?
My dog's name is Bouncer. My dog's name is Bobby.
Bobby and Bouncer.
Bowie
Bobby, Bouncer, and Lulu.
Yeah. Yeah, and so if you were, if you were in that same situation, you'd turn the house down, Sarah, yeah?
100%. Now, I wouldn't actually turn the house down. I'd say on the QT, take the house, say nothing to nobody. Yeah, right. Thanks
Sneak them
very
in.
much. And then after a while, I'd move the dog in. And once the dog is in, there's no way they'll get that dog out.
Oh, they will. I've seen it
No, you
happen.
won't.
I actually had a girl. I had a girl on the air in tears going back about 7 years ago that the council were coming, and they had already sent her a letter telling her she had to take the dog out of the house or rehome the dog, and they were coming. An inspector was coming to make sure the dog had been removed.
Well, I tell you what, Niall, all she had to do was go down to the doctor and tell her the benefits that dog had, the effect on their child, and they would not remove that dog. There you go.
Well,
and that's the fact, no matter what sort of a breeder it is.
Maybe that'll work, but of course, a lot of council houses don't allow dogs, and a lot more of them don't allow dogs that are on the restricted list.
Listen, a lot more of them don't allow their boyfriends, and sure, what are they doing? They're sleeping there as well. So listen, the way I look at it is, take the house, and if the husband wants to start going on giving a load, this, that and the other, okay, right, there is a bit of
giving it loads.
sanity to what you're
Giving
saying.
a load.
But at the end of the day,
yeah,
a man needs to know his place still in the home.
Well, what? Excuse me? Hold on, wait, whoa. Put on the fucking brakes there for a second. A man needs to know his place in the home. Get back into the kitchen, woman.
Excuse me? Jay knows his place in my house, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, you back into the kitchen. Why do women have small feet? So they can stand
Oh,
closer
here
to
we
the
go.
cooker.
So there's more room in the kitchen.
Now, Sarah, what do you mean a man needs to know his place in the home?
He does. He needs to know who's the boss and when to keep the mouth shut. And
not you.
Exactly. He needs to know his place.
Right.
You hear, he must obey.
Right. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. But if I'd have said that about a woman on the air, people would complain.
You get 50 lashes and 10 hairs there.
I mean, we only had a referendum there about a month ago asking, about a woman's place in the home, and some of you were going mad. Thankfully, most of you voted no, but some of you are going mad. Now you're telling me a man should know his place in the home.
This is amazing.
You know what? Every day, Niall Boylan, every day you're beginning to sound like Del Boy. I swear to God. That's the only thing. That's not one word of a lie. Show after show, in the middle of the show. And when the more I listen to you, I say, where in the name of God is that character? So familiar. And it's always only fools and horses. That's the only way I can describe you.
Do you know what?
You're like
I swear to God,
Boy.
this is probably one of the most amazing conversations I've listened to, and I tell you why. Because we have one woman who clearly doesn't love her partner enough over the dog. She had to think about, did she love her kids more than the bleeding dog? And the other woman that's on there air is saying, sneak the dog into the house that you're not supposed to. I mean, what in the name of... And a man's place, a man should know his place?
Yeah.
These are all bleeding nuts.
That's
I said at the start of the show, everyone's going to think I'm mad.
And then she says I sound like Del Boy. I don't sound like Del Boy. Lovely jubbly. Okay, well, stay there. Let me just go to
This
Patricia.
time next year, you'll be a millionaire.
Oh, yeah, I wish. Patricia, hi, how are you?
Not too bad at all, Niall. Listen, there's I am.
Yeah. Do I sound like Del Boy?
I won't say.
Oh, Jesus. Right, go on.
You're all right. You're grand. Come here. I have to say now, I've been listening there, so I have for quite a while, and I've done a bit of research and the whole lot like it, okay? I would side with her partner 110% because a dog is not for life. A dog can go on the road tomorrow evening and he can get knocked down, but the children is for life.
Yeah.
Whether you like them or not, you have to have them.
Yeah.
You have to look after them. And I've had animals, and I've had animals that died. But the thing is, you can always replace an animal. Why doesn't she put that dog up all over the country and somebody will take that dog?
Stick it up on Dundee or something like.
Yeah. But you see, I can see the point of view from the councils at this stage in this country. And they have liability insurance. And who's responsible for that dog? We've already had a case down the other side of the country.
That's
no one
right.
has mentioned it on here. Where that little boy's face
was destroyed.
and he's destroyed for life. And he's not the first one. in this country
No.
that has been attacked by a dog like this.
Yeah.
Or any type of a dog, to tell you the truth, because you can't trust them. But the liability insurance that the council have, people seem to forget that they're sued left, right and centre every day with animals. And I don't think if she went into that house in the morning with that dog, even if she was allowed, I don't think the neighbours would take too kindly to it. So she's friction caused already within the estate with her neighbours and with her children inside there to play with other children with that dog in the first place. So I think the best thing to do is abandon the dog, take the roof over your head for the children, or end up outside in the street in the car with your 3 children. And is that what you'd like to do? I'd be beginning to wonder, is it the mom that needs this dog, or is it the children that needs this dog? I think the mother needs the dog more than the children need the dog at the end of the day.
I have to say, very sensible, Patricia. Lorraine, did you listen to Patricia? She's a rock of sense.
Took that lady out of a lucky bag, did you?
No, I did not pull that lady out of a lucky dog.
I listen, I think you pulled her out of a lucky bag.
No.
Houses in the States, private estates that has dogs in it. Right?
Yeah,
And
but the thing is, yes, you have small dogs. Yes, you're allowed small dogs to a certain extent. But you have to look at the you have to look at the side of the council. Are the council going to put a roof over families' heads? Are they putting on over animals' heads? Which of them is it? You know, and the council is trying to do their best.
Okay, so hang on, sorry, one at a time. Sarah, just respond to Patricia, what Patricia said, and I know Lorraine wants to say something too. Sorry, Sarah, respond away there. Go on.
I understand what you're saying. Council are trying to put roofs over families' houses and or heads and stuff like that. But at the one time, like, part of the family unit, you have a dog. Like, would it be the same impact if you had a goldfish?
Clearly not.
But the problem is, you see, there's some very responsible... No, just one minute, no, Lauren. There's some very responsible families there, love their dogs, they mind them, and they put them on leads. But you have families that abuse that situation. The dogs run right around estates and the whole lot, and children get bit by them. And this is the problem, and that's not exactly a dog that you'd let run around the place or be got out the back door for a stranger's child.
Can I pick up on a point you made? I pick up on a point you made?
Yes.
You said about neighbours not liking these type of dogs that, like, I'm assuming you're talking about staffies and dogs that are under
No. I'm saying they may not. It might cause friction for the family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can I pick up on a point? Like, that's what you said, that you're thinking the neighbours mightn't like these type of animals and mightn't like these type of dogs. As I said, I have a German Shepherd. My neighbours love her. She's not outside roaming the streets. When she's outside, she's out on a lead, she's out with us. None of my neighbours have a problem with her. So you can't use that as an excuse either. You can't use that as an excuse either, that the neighbours aren't going to like her. What, because it's a
But they may not like it. They may not like it.
She just said they may not like it. And this is what I said to Lorraine about sneaking the dog in. The neighbours may report it.
I don't agree with sneaking the dog in. If you're going to have the dog, be honest about it, because someone can feel on you and you're going to get in more trouble.
But Patricia's making the point is, why would you deny your children, the possibility of their future forever home?
Mm-hmm. Because there's no houses in this country. It's next and near impossible to get a house.
A nice house, yeah, particularly.
A nice house, any kind of a house, to tell that as truth. I know where I live. You can't get anything. There's people that can't get emergency accommodation where I live. So I would grab that house. I would grab that house with 2 hands.
I know exactly how this woman
feels. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. I know, Lorraine, but sometimes you have to make sacrifices for your children at the end of the day.
I had taken my dog away from my kids, and we've had her that long. It'd devastate my kids, and I know that for a fact. My kids would be devastated.
I can understand.
But would they get over it, Lorraine?
Obviously they would, but at the same time, I wouldn't put them in that situation. I wouldn't.
But I don't know where you were living before you got your nice house to the moment, right, from the council. I don't know where you were living. I don't know whether it was a kip, whether it was a nice place.
No, it wasn't a kip. I had a nice. I was in a nice house.
Okay, so you were renting, I assume, before that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this woman is not in a nice house. She says she's renting a kip by her own admission because they can't afford anything else. Now, if I had 3 kids and she said the area she's living in is a kip, if I had 3 kids and I was living in a kip, in a house that was a kip, and the council were offering me a 6-month-old house in a really nice area that was bigger with a big back garden and lots of room and space, I would find it so difficult to turn it down for the sake of a dog.
And I'd be the opposite. I'd find it 100% difficult to turn it down for the dog.
What would happen, Lorraine, tell me, if she turns down that house, okay, in 2 weeks' time, that dog goes out, runs across the road and gets knocked down. do you not think that her children would begrudge the fact that they were going to get a beautiful house and her mother turned it down because of the dog? And the dog is gone in 2 weeks' time. And they're still left in a kip or nowhere or inside in a hotel room.
It's clear that it's the mother that wants the dog. It's very obvious.
It is, yeah. It is. I think she's very selfish. She has to take her children into account. And I know we all love animals. I was brought up with animals. My children had animals growing up. But at the end of the day, you have to put the children first. It's not as if, though, there's plenty of houses out there that you can pick and choose in the morning. It's not there anymore. Times have changed. You also have to look at the insurance for councils around this country that are being sued left, right and centre. And the thing is, people don't insure their dogs. They don't insure their properties when they go into any kind of a property, be a council house or be a private property. And they've no insurance whatsoever, and they're suing landlords. So you have to look at that side of things as well with animals.
I personally believe, and I genuinely do believe, that dogs have no place in housing estates whatsoever. You only have to look at, as that lady said, that young boy, Alejandro, that was attacked and had his face ripped off. Now, I seen the photographs of that not too long ago, and I know that, Niall, you had a lady on your show. She does the cars, doesn't sell EV cars. What was her name? Nadia, she went and she visited that young boy and she brought him out to be 007 for the day. Lovely little kid, and the pictures of him beforehand and after would absolutely smash your heart. Dogs are animals. They have the potential to bite and attack, and they should not be around children, full stop, and they should not be in housing estates.
But when you say they should not be around children, a lot of people have pets, Steve, or have dogs in the house, and 99.9% of the time they don't attack children. Unfortunately, there are dogs, and I'm just going to say it. I don't care what the Staffy owners or the Bulldog owners think. It tends to be certain breeds that we see the worst damage being done because they're very powerful breeds. And we can't deny that. They can all send in their complaints now if they want to. We can't deny that. That's just a fact of life. It is certain breeds. That's why the council specifically have a list of dogs that you're not allowed to have in a council estate.
They're on the restricted dog list.
Yeah. And by the way, Lorraine, your dog is one of those dogs.
Has. Clearly, this is what this woman has, because if she has a dog that's on the dangerous dog list, don't be bringing that into a housing estate where some innocent child or adult could be attacked and viciously mauled to the point where their life is going to be changed forever.
Stay there. Let me just finally, because I need to finish this up. Let me just bring Anna. Hang on, I want to bring Anna in before I finish up. Anna, hi, how are you?
Not too bad now.
I'm good. What do you want to say?
I snuck my dog in here, and she's 12, and there's no way I'd be giving her up. Now, my predicament is the county council own this place, you know, the bricks and mortar. Yeah. But there's a charity that actually runs it for 25 years.
Yeah, the housing authority.
I was given a set of keys. Nobody asked me nothing. My dog came with me. Now, there is no dogs in this building. And so she snuck in. And all I can say is, let them, if they find out, let them try take me or the dog out, because the barricades are going up and I'll be having food droned to me balcony. And that's how it's going to go here.
Droned to your balcony.
And it'll be barricaded. The place be barricaded. There's no way they're getting this done.
I understand how passionate you are about it, but this is not the situation she's in. And fair play to you. And look, I'm delighted for you. You and your dog are happy, right? But
and another thing is, I'll have to use the Mental Health Act. You know what I mean? Because if you take a dog off somebody, you know, it's detrimental to your health.
I don't think they'll buy that one. I'm sure that excuse has been used many times by people. I'm sure they're well used to it.
The barricades.
Okay, but forget about your situation, right? Because your situation is slightly different, right?
Yeah, that's just me. You know.
Yeah, and you're happy out, and that's grand, right? But here's a woman with 3 kids and a husband or a partner. They're in a kip at the moment, Anna. In a dump. She, by her own admission, it's a kippy area, it's a kippy house. They've just been offered a brand new house that's much bigger, big back garden for the kids, the kitchen of her dreams, she says. It would be rare you would be offered something like this in the council. People do get offered new houses, but it's rare, right? You're really lucky. You're one of the chosen few. And she's going to turn it down because they won't allow the dog. And house for life for the kids.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm old enough, you know, my kids are kind of grown up. Depends what age our kids are. I do agree with audience members there that it's basically like the dog has, or the husband hasn't got a 100% relationship with the dog. But in saying that, she's on the HAP, It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She'll have to make a decision. It's not going to come up again. Not the way Ireland is at the moment.
No.
I would actually get back onto her and tell her to put the dog into kennels for a while until she finds a good home for the dog, and let the kids have a once a month or every 2 months visit with the dog, so they can see the dog has a happy a home, and then like the kids can look at where they are. A kip, of course, their mental health and their future mental health is going to be run down there in that place. And anyway, it might be new schools, better schools,
Could be, yeah.
Other programs.
Are you listening, Lorraine? Lorraine, are you listening to all this?
Yeah.
People who she loves her dogs. Anna loves her dogs, but she's being sensible.
Yeah, I'd have to, if the kids were younger, you couldn't stand where you were and everything, you know what I mean? I'd have to explain to the kids, listen, depending on their, if you were 3, 4 or 5, I'd say it went to the farm, but if they're a bit older, they have a massive, I know foreigners wouldn't realise most dogs sleep in people's fucking beds and everything in Ireland, you know what I mean? Get in here, Peppy, let's go sleep for the night away. Who's fucking snoring? Is it me or the dog? You know what I mean? But she'd have to really think about that. Like, I think she loves that dog just like I'd love my dog. But better area, kids, the whole lot. I would get back on the phone, tell her to foster that dog out until they can get a proper home. Or what I did here as well, Niall, is I have 2 nosy neighbours, and the minute I moved in, because the place was left that long, they thought, they were wondering whether or not I bought the house or it was a charity. Basically, without saying fuck off, I said I bought it. And the only reason I said I bought it was because of me bleeding dog, because if the dog barked, who they complain to?
Yeah,
you see?
Your house, my house, I'll do what I want with it. Yeah, yeah.
I put me dog before anybody else, so nobody can ring effing nobody about my dog, because literally I bought me house to them. Yeah,
I get you. Mind your own business, in other words. Thanks for that, Anna. I gotta go to Joseph. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Niall. Thanks for having me on.
Anna's got a good attitude to life, I have to be honest with you. Joseph, you heard Lorraine. She would rather die than give up the dog. Rather die.
I can understand. And look, with pretty much most of the situations that you come on your show, the fault here is always with the government.
Don't blame the government for this one.
Tell me now, why is the dog not allowed? Why is the dog? There's no good reason.
No, hang on. There is good reasons. And we had a whole conversation with the councils many years ago about this, because we had similar situations. Some areas don't allow dogs at all, and some areas just allow dogs, but not the ones on the dangerous dogs list, right? And the reason for it is insurance. It's for insurance. Because if the dog bites somebody while it's on the premise, say if the postman walks in the garden and the dog bites them, who's responsible? The people living in the house are not responsible. The council is.
Why is the council responsible, not the people? If they have a dog that's going to bite people, they should have it.
Because it's on the council.
It's on the council property.
Yeah, but the dog can still walk onto the property. Like, if a stray dog walks onto the property, then, they can't stop that.
No, I'm just saying that you're asking me that what's the reason? That's the reason. It's insurance.
Well, it's a stupid reason. Yeah.
And by the way, it's also a safety issue too. If you've got, people on council houses with loads of staffies and Alsatians running around biting people.
Yes. Well, yeah, look, you could have a system where, you're allowed to have your dog if there's a problem, if there's complaints, then we come around and we try to say, look, come on.
They don't have the staff to be watching people all the time, so it's easier just to bring in a rule.
No, we have a couple of billion that we just sent off to this and that charities and this and that NGOs. That money should be going to staff if they want to do this. And so people aren't being ripped apart. Like, the dog is a member of the family for some people. And if you have a dog
well, it's a dog, yeah, but it is a member of the family. I get why it's a member of the family, but it's not as important as the other members of the family. It can't be.
Emotionally, yeah, it kind of is. To some people it is. I know, understand that, right?
Yeah, I get that too. Although Lorraine is the exception. She's a bit mental. Yeah.
Yeah, look, them saying a blanket ban, no dogs at all, no one's allowed, that's just them being arseholes and not giving the effort and thought and energy that they deserve to the people. Like, that's the point of government, is that they're doing the work, we don't have to. They're putting in the energy, so we don't have to. So if they're just blanket banning, saying no dogs at all, what if it's a second, little ankle biter chihuahua type of thing? that's not going to cause any insurance issues. If it's one of those little dogs that does nothing, sit at home all day, it's 16 years old, almost on death's door, they still say no. Like, who's that going to bite?
Well, I understand the rule has to be a blunt. It has to be a blunt instrument. You know what I mean?
What?
The rule has to be a blunt instrument. It can't take everybody's circumstances into consideration. It doesn't matter.
No.
You know what I mean?
It can allow everything until there's a problem and then intervene. It can't proactively blanket ban.
Okay, here's the deal at the moment. As it stands, Joseph, she's not allowed to bring the dog, right? So what should she do?
She should walk the dog one day to the new house, leave a load of treats outside. The dog will realise that they can go to the house every other day, get the treats, be with the family, but they'll say, no, we don't have a dog. It's just a stray that shows up.
Joseph.
And we feed the dog.
Okay, Joseph, let's be real.
I think everyone has a responsibility to flaunt the laws that are reckless. Not say reckless, but are stupid. If you are not flaunting a stupid law, you are stupid yourself.
Yeah, well, I tell you now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want somebody living next door to me if I had young kids with a staff.
Well, no, look, if the dog is a danger, you can call up and say, look, there's a dangerous dog around. And
I don't want a staffy living next door to me. I don't want a staffy.
No. What if it was a 16-year-old lab who's been with kids
different, yeah, a little bit different, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit different, yeah.
Completely
Labradors
different.
are more likely to bite you than any other dogs.
Collies actually are the ones that bite the most, believe it or not. But staffs are more likely to do damage to children.
Yeah, I think they give a bit of a nip if someone's abusing them, but like a proper attack, a mauling would come from one of the dangerous dogs, from a really aggressive dog.
Well, hang on, I have to go to Nuala and Jason before I finish here. Nuala, hi.
Oh, yeah. I think the problem is a lack of kind of proper balance in thinking, because, if you're on the HAP scheme, the landlord can exit at any time for particular reasons, and a family is left out
on the streets,
homeless.
Yeah.
So I think when you're offered something, and you have to think of the children and their education, and where they'll have a kind of a reasonable life. Like we all, I have had to part with cows. Would you believe? I used to milk them every day for 10 years, and I had names on them all. I loved them all. But at the end, because the group I was with moved, I couldn't bring them with me. But I would think about them all the time. I'd hope that they were looked after and that they were fed, and that,
So the cows were your pets?
Oh, they would have been my pets.
Yeah. How many cows did you have, Nuala? How many cows?
Sorry?
How many cows did you have?
About 3 or 4, and then there were calves as well. So I would take care of them every day and feed them and make sure they were milked on time, because I hand milked them.
Yeah.
So, I had a kind of, you could say, a relationship with them. They were
they were your pets. Like members of the family. Yeah.
But I saw one once, and about 3 or 4, a month afterwards, I was passing a field where she was grazing away, and I called her name, and she didn't even look round.
Nah,
so
couldn't give a shite.
A dog is different. A dog will remember you 10 years later. He'll come up and...
I'd say a cow remembers you. She just doesn't give a crap. I'd say they do remember you. They're like cats. Cats, for example, are not really very loyal pets. Most cats. Dogs are. Dogs are different. You know what I mean?
But it's cat, whoever feeds it is his best pet.
It's like husbands. Husbands are very loyal.
They're the master. With a dog, he's kind of dependent on the person.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Okay, so I'm running out of time here. What should she do? Should she get rid of the dog?
Well, I think she has to think of her children and take the house, because you could be left in Galway. You'll be left back of the list, and you'll be waiting another 10 years, and your kids will be given out to you later on. Why didn't you?
Yeah, why did you turn down the house for the dog? Yeah, exactly. No, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for that, Nuala. I'm running out of time rapidly here. Stay there, Lorraine. I have some young fella on the phone here. Hello. Yeah, Jason, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, you know your place, don't you, mate?
No, I'm sorry I can't talk to you. I'm out here trying to earn money to feed a house full of dogs and kids.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Jason, you do realise your wife is crackers, don't you? Oh, well, she's not even your wife yet. She's your partner. Yes, you need to make her your wife.
No. She's legally mine. If I marry her now, she's legally mine then. No, not a hope. She's still our mommy and daddy's problem. You're right, she is crackers.
She is.
I have She tries to convince me them dogs ain't in the house. I have a rule out the back during the day. No problem with the Germans and her little fanny licker sleeping in the house at night time when I'm not there. That's security. You know what I mean? She's the best alarm we have is the little fanny licker because that barks at everything. And when they see the German Shepherd,
the fanny licker.
Yes, that's one of them.
What's the little small dog? What, Lorraine?
I thought this one's name is. Do you want to know what this one's name is? Daisy.
Daisy, the fanny licker.
Daisy.
Lorraine, I didn't know you had two dogs.
Yeah. Well, this is a rescue one. This one we rescued.
Oh, this is not the favourite, though, isn't that?
No, she was very badly treated. Now, in all fairness, when we got her, like she was, you know, she.
Oh, well, here on that note, hang on that note, Lorraine, would you give up Daisy for the house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus! So there's favouritism going on here.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, Lulu is my protector. She's my best friend. She is the one I know.
And what's Daisy? Just like an inconvenience.
She's the daughter, kid's pet.
She's the kid's pet.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in the burning building situation, Daisy or Jay, you'd save Jay.
Yeah.
Lulu or Jay, you'd save Lulu.
Lulu.
I saved Lulu. Yeah, 100%.
God.
But Jay knows I would have given up the house. When we got offered this house, Jay knows I would have given up the house if I wasn't ever
we were sort of told that when we moved into the house and the dog and us were all safe. Then she sort of broke the news, so we were going to give this up for the dog.
I mean, Jay, how would you have reacted at the time if the council had to put their foot down and said, "Listen, Lorraine, you're not getting the house if you bring the dog"? How would you? And Lorraine turned around and said, "Okay, fine, we won't take the house." So, how would you react to Jason?
What could I do? I have to support her, she's my partner.
Would you not
Crackers
be
all she is.
Crackers.
I would be, but no. But I mean, we're a family. We're a family. In all fairness, we are. I have to give her that. We are. And when Jason came along, and even the way he was very sick, and the way Lulu was with him, and the way Lulu guarded him, and just sat there and just she's part of this crew. We'd all live in the truck, to be honest. That's being honest with you, Niall. Like Lulu was there for her when Lorraine was going through her. And I wasn't there. You know the job I do now. You know I'm never there, pal. You do know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel comfortable lying out in this truck at the side of motorways. I could be moored, but I know that anybody comes through that door, that dog will fucking tear them apart. And how we know it, we dressed me up one night. Do you remember, Lorraine? In a full black outfit, and I pulled. Remember the old snorkel jackets, Niall?
Yeah.
So I got something like that on me, and I came over the back wall, right, in the night. And what did she do, Lorraine?
She went for you.
Went straight for me. That I jumped straight back over the wall, took all the stuff out of me, and then commanded her to sit. So, now, Lulu is part of us, unfortunately. Mad as she is, Lorraine.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me just bring on one more dog lover. Go ahead. Sorry, Billy. Hi, how are you?
Niall, how are you keeping?
Good. Just very quickly, because I'm way out over time now. But Lorraine, is sticking to her guns on this, and she believes the girl should just give up the idea of the house and wait for the next one.
Niall, I'm part of the German Shepherd fan club as well, as you're well aware. In this case, I think, the house, the kids kind of have to come first. As much as it pains me to say it, but yeah, I'm in a situation, I'm a single guy. If I get kicked out of my house, I can bring the dog with me. But if there was kids involved, Niall, I don't know if I could.
No, see what I mean, lads?
As Jay said, we'd all stay in the truck.
I'm only saying that.
In my case, it's just me and the dog. I can make that work, but if there was kids involved, that'd be a very tough decision. Listen, Niall, one other thing: if you're Del Boy, does that mean that Steve is Rodney?
Yeah. I don't think Steve even is as intelligent as Rodney, to be honest with you. Yeah, although sometimes he surprises me with some of the stuff that he comes out of. You know what I mean? He does surprise me sometimes. Not all the time.
On occasion.
On occasion. Billy, thank you very much indeed. Jason and Lorraine, you're crackers, Lorraine. You know that, don't you? By the way.
We said that at the start of the programme. I was mad.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. As long as we've all established that, as long as Jason knows that. By the way, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Just very quickly. When are you marrying her?
I'm telling you now, Boylan, you'll be there. When I take that plunge, you'll be standing right beside me because I know how much you love going to weddings. I know how much you love that invite. So you keep pushing it, no problem, pal. You'll be at the top table with me.
Lorraine, a nice ring would be nice. With a little solitaire. Be nice, wouldn't it, Lorraine?
I'll play solitaire with her. I play solitaire with her. And I'll give her a ring later on. How about that?
Yeah, nice hotel. Nothing too big, Jason. Hotel, maybe reception. 20, 30 people, 40 people
as long
maybe.
As I can have Lulu beside me, I don't
once
care.
Lulu can come, so we have to find a hotel, dog-friendly hotel.
And I can see Lulu going down the aisle with a little pillow on her back with the 2 rings on it.
Dragging me by the ankles.
Yeah, and the fanny liquor left outside. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Lorraine. What a lovely couple. Mad as hell, but a lovely couple nonetheless. All right, thank you very much indeed for everybody got involved in the show today. Loads and loads of texts, by the way, coming in. Somebody says, yes, take the house. Of course. Find a good home for the dog with a big garden where it can run around. Barry says Ireland has spent more than 800,000 on transport and accommodation for pets to Ukrainian refugees since the war broke out. Thanks for sharing that, Barry. We did a whole show on it going back about 4 weeks ago, if you remember. Yeah, I don't think we need to know again. Cork Boy says, why don't they allow pets? That should be the first issue and a red flag moving into your own home. No, it's not your house. It's the council's house. You don't have to pay the insurance or insure people for liability. The council do. That's why the council have rules around pets, depending on where you happen to be living or what the house is. Liam says, I'd say some would abandon their wives for a council house. I imagine they would, yeah. Clara says, not true. You're allowed 2 pets. They aren't strict. Clara, that might be in your house, but not in this one. Why does everybody think they know the rules? Clara, you haven't a clue. Sorry. Some houses, actually, some council houses allow 1 pet. Some allow 2. Some allow none. Some allow a pet as long as it's not on the dangerous dog or the restricted dogs list. So it depends on where you're living, Clara. It depends on the housing agency as well, the authority. It depends on the insurance that's in the area. There's a lot of factors here, Clara. You think you know it all. Leah says, ridiculous. I was allowed a dog in my social house. Oh, just because you were allowed a dog, she should be. She's not living in the same house as you, Liva, or Leah. As long as it wasn't on the Dangerous Breeds Act. Why is it everybody thinks they know everything? You know what I mean? The girl sent in the email. I can only go by what she says. Thank you very much indeed to everyone who got involved today. These are all crackers. I think we have a couple of voice notes, by the way, just before we go here. Hold on, let me see. Oh, yeah, let me go.
I was wondering, would he say the same thing if it was a blind person moving in? Sweet Mother Divine Christ. Come on, give her a break.
Well, Sarah Jane is right. Just bring the dog with you. Because if you're going to get rid of him before you go to the new home, we're going to get rid of him. So you bring him to the new home and just take the chance. Just take the chance. And I know you're saying, you know, people do get their dogs caught and they get thrown out, but just take the chance, Niall. Cheers.
Stop. Take the chance, Niall. He said, take the chance. All right. Well, if you get caught, well, then the dog gets booted out. That's going to be even worse for the kids. At least if you take the dog out of the equation at the very start, you can make up some story. If the kids are young, the dog has gone to a farm. I know it sounds horrible. Anyway, listen, thank you very much indeed to everybody who got involved in the show. Don't forget, by the way, we'll be back on Monday. I know it's a bank holiday, but we still work on bank holidays. Show doesn't stop for Easter bank holiday. Enjoy your Easter eggs over the weekend, by the way. Please spare a thought for us getting our bills at the end of this month. We have a lot of bills to pay. Thank you to all of those who subscribe to the podcast, who have gone to our website and have subscribed and donated. Thank you very much indeed, because you help us to pay those bills. We don't get paid for doing the show, but we try to make enough money just to pay the bills, to pay for all of this, including electricity, internet, hosting, all that kind of stuff. It's expensive, really expensive. So please do support us and help us to at least do that by going to our website and clicking the donate button. You can donate that from $5 to $5 million. If you're very wealthy, we would love a lovely big donation. It would save us a lot of time. Thank you very much indeed. Or you can subscribe for $5.99 plus tax. Essentially, you're just buying a drink for the 3 of us to share. Thank you very much indeed to everybody who supports the show. We love giving you this platform. We shall talk to you again on Monday at the same time at 12 o'clock. Until then, have a lovely Easter weekend.
The multi-award-winning Niall Boylan Podcast. Listen live on Facebook, YouTube, and all the usual live stream services. To get in touch, just WhatsApp or text 085 100 2255. The Niall Boylan Podcast. They told me to shut up. Available for download from all your usual platforms.